Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 97. Hello out there, I am your host. I'm Elliot Jay O'Neill, and here are some other people. Here is Jordan Frost.
Hey, I had a really fun time. Thanks for having me on the episode.
All right, catch you next time. Oh, wait, man.
Right, I'm having some weird temporal problems at the moment. That's
You're in a different space and
Yeah.
time.
Are you unstuck from time?
fix it in post.
And here as always, except when he's not, BT Calloway.
I'm confused and aroused.
Well, let me bring you up to speed. This is The Simpsons Index. This is the podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but there's a twist. Each episode must come from a different decade. Now, Jordan, welcome back. We haven't seen you since The Wasteland. You're looking well.
I am well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Got all the rats out of your hair and skin.
Yeah, I know, right? The hard part was the cockroach and the babies in the ear, but you know.
Oh, they'll get you. You get the big one, but then you forget about the eggs.
But for now, we're here. We're to do The Simpsons, and we just watched an episode from the HD era. This was Season 20, Episode 8, The Burns and the Bees. First released in December of '08, it was directed by Mark Kirtland, written by Stephanie Gillis. In this episode, Mr. Burns wins a basketball team in a game of poker, so we see that adventure play out, and simultaneously in a bee story. You know I had to do it.
You did, to be fair.
Yeah,
You're
no.
contractually obligated.
Lisa has noticed colony collapse disorder happening all throughout Springfield. All the bees are dying, so she attempts to bring them back, and she gets a beard of bees at one point. But yeah, then Mr. Burns and her butt heads. Guys, what did you think?
I thought you said Mr. Burns and her are butt heads. Yeah.
It's certainly past the time.
You can tell when it's a boring episode when you're like, I haven't written anything down in about 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but there's nothing really to write down.
I had that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
it's
sorry,
fun.
man, because we just did the Wasteland episode with
Oh,
you,
it's okay.
and I was hoping to bring you some, at least quality episodes today, but I don't think this one's that quality.
Yeah.
First of all, just like to mention that, this is one of 9 episodes from the HD era that aren't in HD.
Have we done others yet?
Yeah, we've only done 2 of those, Double Boy in Trouble and Dangerous Curves.
Oh, yeah.
Both pretty ordinary episodes,
Yeah.
actually.
And this is no exception.
So at the start of season 20, they only made the HD switch on episode 10. So there are still a few episodes that are in 4.3. So that's a bit of fun. PT, for better or worse, what is a moment from this episode that stands out to you?
I'm going to go more of a confusion one, which is a big Christmas intro and then not a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
It was just kind of odd. It felt like it was gearing me up for something that then didn't happen.
It's also a reused intro from a previous episode, I think Kill Gil.
And the other thing I'm going to bring up, just because he's been in the news a lot lately for being a shithead, was Jeff Bezos wetting his pants.
Yeah.
And that was actually Jeff Bezos as well.
Wetting his
Was it?
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't as worth as much then as
No.
he is today.
No.
Like 154 billion or something and counting.
Well, it is funny that, we've got a cartoon of Jeff Bezos wetting himself as well as a scary story.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
nothing else, his Amazon employees can keep a photo of that in their wallet.
I'm guessing it was Mark Cuban as well.
Yep, that was
Okay.
Mark Cuban. That's
Yeah.
the sort of crazy shit that old crazy Mark Cuban will do.
Man, even though he was being like crazy and wild, fuck, he was boring.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a voice actor,
No,
to
no,
be fair.
I just mean even his character, everything about him was like there's one thing where the first crazy thing he does is take a little flying fox down while holding a flare, and it's like, they could have written
Yeah.
something funnier there. That was pretty bland.
Yeah.
I mean, this just does seem like a watered-down version of Arthur Fortune. Remember?
Yeah.
Arthur Fortune.
Yeah, Monty Can't
He's
Buy Me
dreamy.
Love.
That's going to be my big negative on this one, is just how much Burns' story just feels like we've not only done it before, but done it so much better.
Yeah, there wasn't anything added to it either.
And
No.
just, he didn't feel motivated, at least when he's, he's obviously jealous of Arthur Fortune.
Mm.
In this, he was just like, well, you're in a basketball team now, and I'm a crazy guy who owns a basketball team. You should be like me. And he's like, all right.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
going to do crazy Mr. Burns thing at the basketballs.
Yeah, but even then, it was just like a rehash of some of the same jokes, like when he's throwing that fancy person.
Foie gras.
Fagua, thank you.
Fagua.
When he's throwing Fagua, but that's like when he's in Monty Can't Buy Me Love, when he's throwing silver dollars. But that was
Yep.
funny, because it was like, it seems like a good idea until you realize how quickly and painfully they're going to fall.
Oh, God, that was the one where it gets embedded in Lenny's head,
Yep.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And he
Even
takes it
in
out
this-
and it starts bleeding. Yeah. Ugh.
Take it out, take it out.
Put it back,
put it back.
Good Lenny.
I kind of like, though, the joke about Monty Burns singing what was it?
I think it was God Save the Queen, but the lyrics were wrong.
Yeah,
it was
but
like pre-World
the
War
lyrics
One.
was trying to make it sound like it was Germany pre-World War One, yeah, or something.
No, I think it was because they were saying that, the Hungarian Empire, and because they've got ties to the British royal family and blah, 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 blah.
I guess.
So yeah, there's something I kind of liked about the Smithers like whispering like all major events from history.
Yeah, it just went on too long.
It went on about 8 or 9 bytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, European Union, good heavens. So yeah, I liked where it ended. It just took a little bit of a long and winding road to get there. Bum, bum, bum.
The thing about it was the bit,
Nerd.
I'll give you credit for that one. That was not bad.
Beatles.
Die.
How about you, Jordan? What is the moment from this episode that stands out to you for better or worse?
I was thinking about is you can tell the datedness of the episode when they says, "Take that, founder of Facebook," and there's like no one in the world who doesn't know the name of the founder of Facebook anymore, because obviously at the time they're probably like, no one's going to know who Mark Zuckerberg is.
Yeah.
So
but they know what Facebook is. So the social network hadn't come out yet.
No. And the second one was that he just burned straight up murdered a guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not just like he shoots a man who's like, were those real bullets? Yes. Was that a real gorilla? No.
And then it cuts to him and he's bleeding.
He's just bleeding out all over the basketball court.
You see the blood pool and you hear a little bit of blood pooling sound.
Yeah. Not
But
cool.
the people go, boo, as in, oh, this is a boring show.
Oh, you fucked up the dunk. Not, that man is dying.
Yeah. I guess it ties into what you said before, Beach, about the boringness of the Burns plot and the basket bells as well.
Yeah, it was an okay joke. It just didn't quite land. There's a lot of ideas here I should like, and they just didn't come together well.
And yeah, I'm going to say the part of the story that sticks out to me is this Lisa B story about the bees, not referring to the letter number that I am assigning to the story, but the actual subject matter of.
Yeah, like that Jerry Seinfeld movie.
Yes. I like the beats of this, and that wasn't an intentional pun. I'm sorry.
See how many you can fit in, Elliot.
No, it
before I strangle you with the mic cord.
But no, to be honest, I can't not say the word bee. It's a really common word to use. Her beard as well. I like that story beat, and even though it was kind of a bit, the next day Marge just happened to find a greenhouse. Like, I kind of like that she's got a place for her to tend to her bees now, and that the bees took over the stadium as well, but I just like them because they were story beats. I didn't really love any of the material around it. Like, I kind of like how Bart shapes Lisa's face with the bees when they were on her face.
Especially down to the sympathetic eyebrows when she's trying to play with Marge. That's a good bit.
And the line of "stop millhousing your sister" was pretty good. I got a chuckle out of that. Not bad.
Yeah, I'd put that on a bumper sticker.
Stop millhousing your sister.
That's just good life advice.
Yeah.
Brothers out there.
Stop millhousing, just in general.
Yeah.
Are you a winner or are you a millhouse? Stop millhousing and get to it.
I mean, he is the dud.
Do it! Just do it!
Yeah.
Stop millhousing around!
How to unmillhouse your life. Motivational book series by BT Calloway. On sale now in the Simpsons Index store. Play count. How many times before today have you watched this episode?
At least once, but I remembered none of it.
Never.
Yeah, I've seen this a bunch and I don't really know
Stop
why.
it.
Yeah.
No, because this came out when season 20 was fast tracked to DVD, so I did just watch these DVDs a lot, and yeah, I'm finding out on these rewatches that I shouldn't have been.
Maybe in between episodes, there's like a bright white flash and it wipes your memory of the episode.
He gets MIB'd.
Yeah.
I don't know, just watching it, there's nothing really about this episode that I like, and even the town being won over by Burns getting a basketball tee and Muckmoo, that felt weirdly racist.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't really know who Muckmoo is. Is that a person? I'm assuming
I don't know if it was racist, but I think it was just silly.
I don't know, but they brought him in on stage and he was carrying a harpoon.
That's a good point.
Maybe I'm not qualified to speak on this. What'd you find, Beach?
Googling, he is a fictional character, so that already is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seeing as it's not directly based off of someone, it is pretty shit.
And when they were at that town meeting as well, introducing Muckmoo, who is holding a spear and saying he kills whales for fun. Yeah, this felt very icky to me. And also, Mr. Burns pulls out the plans for his stadium, which from a mile away look like a bee shelter, so you already know where this is going.
I don't know where he thought that looked like a really attractive, fancy, glitzy stadium.
No, it looks like a filing cabinet.
Yeah. There's the shot where they're knocking down the greenhouse and they're building a thing, and I'm like, was actually Jordan's anal corner. I was saying fuck.
You're not getting away with it.
Where I'm like, oh, the jail is being rebuilt, or it just looks like the jail, or where has the jail gone?
Yeah,
I don't know, because that was the thing. It was right next to the penitentiary.
They stopped and made a point that, oh, there's a jail there, and then it didn't,
Lame.
Yep.
But I thought it just looks really ugly. And they're all going, ooh, and I guess you don't want this fancy stadium after all.
He's talking features, but again, it feels like a first pass of the idea.
Yeah.
Like, there's a better jokes to have there. You have something absurd and ridiculous, like the Buzz Cola fountain.
Buzz,
Spitball.
I get it,
Oh, whoops, sorry. Literally not intended. But I mean,
sure.
pitch something that people are going to, ooh, I definitely want that, instead of, here's a stadium with normal stadium things.
Got a skybox and a thing. I'm like, great, but you can't see that in your stupid model that looks really ugly.
Yeah, like it would have been less obvious if they like made a hexagonal themed stadium out of it, you know?
Would have been cooler too.
Yeah, it would have been a much cleverer design rather than just looking like a bunch of filing cabinets stacked around a dome.
First thing was he renamed the team the Springfield Excitement. There was nothing exciting about that stadium.
Yeah.
And their mascot was a gorilla? What the fuck?
Gorillas are exciting.
So yeah, look, I think that joke was funny that Homer had like just coincidentally planned for the Springfield Excitement, and but that didn't go anywhere. Now makes me dislike this episode more. But let's talk about some of the wacky elements, seeing as though we already have.
Yeah, bees understand English but can't speak it. The great tragedy of the Simpsons universe.
They can dance it though.
Oh yeah. Speaking of dancing, the billionaire's handshake, which is a joke I liked. It went on a bit too long.
I did like how the handshake ended with their hands like making a dollar sign.
Dollar sign.
Yeah,
Pretty
that was
cool
good.
gang sign, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with it just being that.
They're like trying to sneak around Smithers just to do this quick little symbol. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, any other wacky elements?
Yeah, I know it's a fantasy sequence, but Homer meeting cut rate Wally in the future with no honey.
Yeah, I didn't think anything of that.
No.
He gets stuffed into a box that his mass would not fit in, and he's still alive.
Haha, he's a cube now.
Yeah.
Get it?
Simpsons have done better cube jokes.
When Grandpa walks in and sees Lisa with a beard of bees, it's like, oh, President Lincoln.
I'm voting for you again, and you lost that stupid hat.
It was a really bad exit joke.
Also, he knows all about
wearing a beard of bees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much did Lisa's weigh? Was it 15 pounds?
I doubt,
Probably
because I feel like Lisa would not be able to stand.
No, her head would tip over.
Flowers are the painted whores of nature.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yep.
I'll just mix some steroids into their cocaine.
Yeah, if they get
Got a chuckle
sluggish.
out of that one. Yep.
Yeah, there were a few chuckles to be had. Like even the Lincoln's hat joke, I don't mind, but
No, it's just a lazy exit. Like your exit line is what is going to want to make me come back, I suppose.
Yep.
So I just realized those last two comments nearly burned through all my notes for this.
All right.
I'm actually kind of disappointed that the Beard of Bee story didn't carry out through more of the episode.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like the breakfast scene where Homer's like, the trick is to just spit out the stingers. And Lisa's like, Dad, don't eat them. And it's like, he's kind of reminding me of like Jianyu from The Good Place. He's just like along for the ride but has no idea what's going on.
I feel like you know about 20% of what's going on at any one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bee steals Wiggum's gun and shoots him with it.
Yep.
I
Very
actually
wacky.
like that.
Also, he just randomly shot in a direction in a crowded stadium, so he's probably shot 3 people.
Yeah. I made sure to note that as well.
Yeah.
But I do like the whole, my guns are useless against them. You know, it's a classic monster
but they
movie.
were
Very effective against me.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's reverse wackiness, which is when Willie takes Lisa to see the bees, and Lisa says, "Oh, Willie, I didn't know you were an apiarist." And Willie just says, "I can tell through context that means beekeeper."
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, you really restrained yourself. That's the one you went with. That's good. And I kind of appreciated it more for them just being like Willie being adept.
Also just echoing what the audience probably just did.
Yeah. I think, it was a bit adept for Willie, but it was good as an audience surrogate, and it sounded funny coming from him.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't think much of his little like bee graves joke, and it was just like, here is a bunch of bee puns for you.
And also because when he cried, he sounded like Homer as well.
Actually, speaking of which, I liked Ralph's line in this, but it did not sound like Ralph.
What was the line again?
So when Bart originally knocks the beehive off and he goes, "Stingamajigs."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Good Ralph line, but yeah, it didn't sound like him. It was weird.
What would it sound like if James L. Jones said it?
Uh-oh. Stingamajigs. I can't. I'm smiling too much and I'm laughing. Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me.
You are not Hakeem.
Stingamajigs.
Bee fact corner. Bees, when they cluster like that, get really hot.
Oh.
That's how they kill hornets.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So they can't sting a hornet and kill it. But what they do is a hornet's like core temperature can only go at like 38 degrees, but a bee's can go to 39 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they cluster and like vibrate, and like a few die, but they kill them by like overheating them.
Greater good.
Yeah, bees fight by attrition, so
Lisa would be like sweating.
like a bee in heat.
Something sweaty.
And
me.
surely-
She'd be sweating like me.
But yeah, surely a sting from a queen to an 8-year-old's gonna do some fucking damage.
Wouldn't it kill the queen? Doesn't it pull out their insides?
That I don't know.
I'm going to assume queens can get away with it. And they can also move in all directions.
God, the 1%, am I right? Get away with everything.
Editing Bay Elliot Jay here to say that, yeah, queen bees can sting multiple times and not die. It's because their stinger is smooth, it's not barbed like most bees, so a barbed stinger gets stuck in the thing that they're trying to sting, and when they pull away, their guts fall out. That doesn't happen to the queen. Anyway, back to the show.
So how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel any bumps?
No.
Not really.
Not even for Lisa's love of bees.
I kind of did. Like, I felt her devastation when the wrecking balls came through, and
Yeah, and her plea for sanity at the town meeting. And
yeah, you didn't listen to me about the snail gator or the feisty pig of the... Not feisty enough, apparently.
Yeah. You know what? I think it didn't feel... I don't want to say it didn't feel earned, because I feel like we overused that phrase on the podcast.
didn't feel earned.
But I didn't have like a whole bunch of sympathy because they hadn't built it up as like a giant tragedy, and she was the only one that cared. And it wasn't like science was like, in 10 years this world will be barren because nothing will have been pollinated, blah blah blah.
Yeah, true. I'm surprised they didn't really talk about that. They had Homer's flash forward to an apocalypse, but it was more that there was no honey, not that there was no pollination.
Yeah.
And they ruined it with a joke.
Yeah, and even then, I think at this point of the story, we're still kind of waiting for the plot to fully kick in.
Yeah.
So there's no weight to her speech because we know whatever she says, it's not going to work because we have to get to a story still.
Even Frink wasn't really concerned because he was just like, get the and I'm like, well, okay, if you've got that thing and they can just start a colony, then what's the big problem?
Yeah, now that you mention it, the fact that no one really talks about pollination and food running out being a symptom of a lack of bees is really surprising. That's like...
Considering it's a real world problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 10 years since The Simpsons made an episode about it, and it's still, ongoing and tragic. And, people donate to bees or something. I'm not sure what to do.
I've heard it's getting better, actually.
So that should have even been the third act story escalation where, the bees have taken over the stadium. They're the wrong sort of bees, so they want to control them. And now Burns and Lisa have a common enemy.
And you know what? They could have had a really cute resolution about, like, making some kind of cure for bee measles or beezles, as they said.
Yep.
Now, I love a good twurge, but fuck you, Frank. That was not good.
I thought Jeff Bezos was going to come back at that stage because it's Beezles and Bezos sounds like similar.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
I wet myself.
It was just apple juice from before.
I feel like the more satisfying third act might have been the bees take over the stadium, but it's Mr. Burns' stadium, so he owns the bees now, so he owns the honey and the pollination, tightening his grip on this town.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into what we'd change about it, which speaks a lot about how much heart is in this episode.
Yeah, the fact that I've already forgotten that was the question.
But ultimately, though, guys, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
It felt like Monty Can't Buy Me Love, which was an episode of The Simpsons. So,
Yeah.
With an equally ridiculous kind of premise.
Yeah.
Loch Ness Monster or Bee Mutation Stadium.
Yeah, and we're just doing essentially another Lisa conservation environment animal episode. And unfortunately, this was their opportunity to sort of say something, and it didn't feel like they did.
No.
But again, character integrity, I don't think anyone's off.
No.
Other than Mr. Burns kind of wholeheartedly accepting he needs to be this different character for some reason.
Oh, yeah, just because that billionaire is...
Instead of wanting love, he wants attention this time, which doesn't seem really like him. He talks about fun. Is that how you pronounce it? I've only ever seen it written down. Stupid line.
And we see him at the billionaire's camp. He has a great time with his friends, with his peers, his equals.
Doing equally zany stuff.
Like, this is Burns going for a skinny dip.
I mean, it's no sliding down a flying fox with a flare, but I mean,
it's
up
still
there.
shooting priceless works of art with archery
Yeah.
That's
stuff,
just,
arrows.
With
I
archer
see.
arrows.
Yep.
I know that's supposed to be like, oh, they're ridiculously wealthy, so they're destroying the Mona Lisa, but it's like, who would actually do that though?
I don't know. If you got destroy the Mona Lisa money, why not destroy the Mona Lisa?
Yeah, but why would you? That's a really bad investment.
Well, it seems like they've put the money equally into figuring out how real life Quidditch will work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wackiness. We didn't talk about. Yeah. Quidditch brooms exist.
Powered by money. That's why we'll never have one.
It takes $100 billion to play one game.
Reminds me of the South Park The AIDS episode.
Oh,
where,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Magic Johnson, how did you just like, well, I just sleep like everyone else. He just sleeps on like millions and millions and millions of dollars of cash.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, about the billionaires retreat as well. I like Mr. Burns in his element here.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like the poker game as well with all those guys.
Yep. Offers up Smithers.
Yeah. I like how Smithers is objecting and he goes, bets don't talk.
Yeah.
It was a weird Palport, the Austin Celtics
Yep.
that were brought in, I guess because it had to make it by the rich Texan, but I don't know why couldn't he just own the Boston Celtics or
Or
the
just any team.
or the San Antonio Spurs or the Houston Rockets, who are both Texas NBA teams?
Or just a Springfield team. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Rich Texan, he's a resident of Springfield. I don't know
Yeah.
why he didn't have a Springfield team.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
name
true.
is Richard Texan, as we've
Yeah,
discovered.
yeah.
That's true. Is he actually from Texas? That's
He does have the
that's a
accent, I
question.
guess.
Yeah, but did he just put it on? Is it because he's
Is it
like,
all a
well, I
ruse?
am a rich Texan, so I'm going to dress and sound like this?
Yeah, could be.
So, yes or no, would you watch this one again?
I don't really see a reason.
I think I'd probably skip it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Again, hangover test, yeah, but it's very ignorable.
Even if I was hungover, I think I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
skip it.
Skip to something a little better.
It's-
But
yeah.
it'd be a phone episode, you know. It's the one you get
Definitely.
up, go to the bathroom, make a snack.
No, I'd like nap. I'd just go
Nap
back
would
to
be good
sleep.
too.
And I'm like, and if that's the point, I'm just wasting electricity, so I might as well just turn the TV off.
Wow. It doesn't even pass the electricity test for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You are not worth the 4 cents of electricity.
This is a waste of megawatts.
So
Yeah.
that just made me think of a new version. It's like the death row test where you can live, can only watch this episode and then we'll execute you. Or would you rather just go straight to execution?
I'll just get over with it.
Yeah,
eh?
exactly.
Yeah.
Which makes it sound much worse than it is. Just incredibly bland.
Not waste
So-
any time, shall we?
Yeah.
Well, how about you, BT? What would you like to change about this episode?
Keep the bees on Lisa's face.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd just be funnier watching her go through a day with a beard of bees.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
else
like
to do with it.
In
but
class and things like that. That'd
yeah,
be
maybe,
fun.
maybe she starts
Sure.
commanding them a little bit, takes on some bullies, does some, I don't know, something. But you know,
Oh, yeah. And if she gets comeuppance, like, because we see the bullies picking on kids in the episode, so that'd be a good way for,
She becomes Bee Girl. No,
yes,
it's a terrible
the
name.
queen bee.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's something to be got. It's not
The
amazing,
Stinger.
but it just sounds like more fun than what we got. So,
Yeah. How about you, Jordan? What would you like to change?
Yes.
Hmm?
Do it.
Change it to an episode worth keeping the power on for.
Yeah, exactly. What would I change? It's a really tough question. I think that I'd like to see more from the billionaires,
I was
but
about to
less Mark
say.
Cuban.
One of my last notes is Mark Cuban is dumb. But no, stay at the billionaires camp. There'd be something to mine from that for sure.
Yeah, I know that Burns is rich, but like then you could do when he first becomes a billionaire and first gets invited to camp and like how that pans out and
First day at camp.
yeah, and how he learns like the handshake or something. Like
And given that he's only like just in the billionaires club by,
Yes.
well, $700 million, but
Yeah,
still.
yeah. Yeah, something like that. Like I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more about that because I think that looked like he was having a lot of fun, and I'd like to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, I'd almost like to see a wet, hot Springfieldian summer or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I think there was something funny to be mined from him getting thrown into the millionaires camp as well. And I would have
Yeah.
kind of liked to see an episode where he was like rustling the millionaires to make him a billionaire again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Where we've done episodes where he's lost his fortune and gotten it back, but yeah,
Yeah.
where it's more like he's still super rich. He's just got to earn
Yeah.
like another $50 to $100 million or
Yeah,
something
and
like
he
that.
had like the millionaires play the billionaires in some kind of game at some point, and he
Yeah.
rallies the team or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, it's
They,
like
they longest yard or something.
or Revenge of the Nerds or
Yeah.
something, but it's the
Yeah.
other way around.
Yeah, that sounds kind of funny. I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what I said before. I wish Burns and Lisa had to work together at some point, and they had a common interest in helping the bees, and have Burns owe the bees, but like not be able to manage it because it's environment and he doesn't care about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Something like that.
Strange bedfellows kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So guest stars of the episode, we already mentioned Jeff Bezos and Mark Cuban, but there was also Marv Albert, who's an American commentator.
Oh, he's the guy that's like, it's not even my mic anymore. It's
just
bees. Yeah.
Are they stinging me? Yes, they are. I kind of like that bit.
That was good.
Yeah, most of my favorite material was in like the last minute of this episode.
Yeah.
But then, I didn't really like Mr. Burns still living in the stadium. He was doing a little bit of like the casino episode there.
Yeah.
Why?
No reason to. And Mukmu just...
He has to be there when Lisa shows up.
Yeah, not good.
He has to be there.
Guess you had to be there.
Musical moments of this episode. Did any music stand out to you guys?
Yeah, the music that kept playing whenever Lisa was in the greenhouse.
I believe it was Sting. I'll see myself out.
Anyway, there was a little bit of Groundskeeper Willie playing Amazing Grace on bagpipes.
Yeah, that's right.
That was kind of appropriate.
True.
I actually did like that shot where, there was a bit of nice parallaxing animation there.
It was power relaxing.
The bagpipes playing Amazing Grace weren't.
No, I respect bagpipes players. I just don't know if there's ever a really an appropriate time for them.
Yeah, like it must be hard to play those things. I'm just saying, you're never going to see relaxing bagpipe music for meditation.
No. You know what the worst part is? You think about how hard you had to practice to learn to play bass or guitar or whatever, right?
Or flute.
And you can do that acoustically or just like with an electric thing not plugged in and no one hears how bad you are. The bagpipes, incredibly difficult to practice.
It's like the violin in the sense that until you're pretty good at it, you're terrible.
Yeah. It's like bagpipes is just one of those instruments. It's just unfortunate from start to finish.
That's been Jordan's review of bagpipes.
Come back next for my review of the oot.
Not sponsored by bagpipes.
BT, do you have any other notes?
I do not. I ran out like 5 minutes ago.
Nice. I'm jealous. Jordan, do you have any other notes?
Yeah. One was like, I loved the very opening line is like, oh, check out this exposition where Smithers is like, well, we're 2 minutes away from landing from that billionaires camp that we're going to. And I was like, cool, good way to do that.
Yeah.
Smart writing, guys.
Could have done that with a sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome billionaires to camp, the end.
Yeah.
Skinner took his pants off before, like, he walks into the bathroom and obviously begins taking his pants off.
Yeah.
Before he even notices that there are other like women in the thing, and then he runs out with his pants like holding them up.
Yep.
It's a joke I like as well, but obvious, like, he'd know.
Yeah, he would know where the men's room is in his own school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men, the room for me.
Which is a shame because that is the part of the joke that I like.
Yeah. The Homer gay joke was a little bit
much.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
It was the one where Mo is explaining to Homer how they're going to like make the bees fuck, right? And then Homer's like, well, you and me? Like, no, the bees, you idiot.
Yeah,
he's like,
what the hell?
No, of course, that's what I meant too. I don't have any inclinations.
Yeah.
I was like, so you do?
For Mo.
Which is really interesting.
And that scene was weird as well. Mo getting the bees to get down to business, puts a little microscopic bottle of champagne and stuff down.
Yeah. Actually, this leads into, if you don't mind, a couple of Jordan's Anna corners.
Couple of other Jordan's Anna corners.
We do not mind at all.
Yep, cool. The bees couldn't see the wine or the candles because they had a rag over them.
Yeah, I like the visual gag of tiny things, but yeah, he'd already covered them up and was like, well, gonna go fuck now.
When Mark Cuban is on the court, and it's like the guy shoots a 3, and then he's like dancing on the center circle, and like the game is still going.
Yep.
You can't just fucking dance in the... Anyway, that's how crazy he is.
You can when you got Mark Cuban money. I will say I did love the joke of Mr. Burns going, 2-0. Oh, run out the clock, boys. Run out the clock.
Yeah, like the first quarter,
yeah.
Kearney, the joke about him reading back what was written and what was spoken.
Went on a bit too.
Like a stenographer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed. It was so close to being a good joke.
Yeah.
But also, he begins reading what is written, and then he begins reading what he just said, and he hadn't written it down. His pen did not move. His pencil didn't move, but he was reading it like he was reading off the paper. So unless he has kind of like a magic...
Well, also, he was
wizard pen.
he read all the way up to him beginning to read from the pad, but his pad was in the pocket when he was asked to read.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
How was he writing it down on that pad?
Is he a wizard?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a joke that I almost liked, and now I like even less now that we've picked it apart.
Yep.
Or exposed him for being a wizard.
Yeah.
Was that all your notes?
That's everything.
Time for my final notes.
Final
Notes. I like how Homer was like knew the lotto numbers and like kept getting them right and then just goes, boring.
He's just like, 17, duh. 14, yeah, obviously. 2, what? The one who's
3,
surprised.
boring. Yep.
Yeah.
Homer is a god.
Yeah, Homer had a couple of weird moments, like that Mo Gay joke, and also like the Homer's like, oh, now I'm going to finish the job and kill these bees, and now there'll be no witnesses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Queen
This time, no screw-ups.
Yeah, and he's putting on the gloves, and it's really threatening. It's like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
And similarly, when Marge is talking about the greenhouse that she found, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's an old rundown nursery or whatever, and Homer's like, yeah, because I got put in charge of it. And it's like, why?
Yeah, it was like the writers felt they had to explain how Marge knew about this place, but did it in such a way that raised more questions.
And also took a time away from Lisa having a bee face.
Mm-hmm.
This was the best part of the story.
Yeah.
B-face.
I'm just glad that they didn't like either cut back to it or make that episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good.
Fucking word. Kill his acorns and make him watch. I enjoyed that line as well.
Yeah.
I hated Homer when he opened the beehive and goes, and the bees all swarm out at him. A simple yes would have sufficed.
Yeah, it was enough.
Well,
This is too dumb for Homer.
I was about to say the bit just before it was like, oh, are you guys angry? And like,
Yeah.
let's open the box and obviously find out that, yes, they're all angry. Mm.
Yeah, you saw it coming from a while away. You didn't have fun, and then you just think Homer's dumb, and it wasn't funny. Again, last few episodes we've been talking a bit about how they think it's funny when children just do adult stuff, like when Lisa gets milk drunk here.
Yeah.
Well, give me the keys to my bike.
Oh, I don't know if I should.
I don't know why I have them anyway.
Yeah, it was a bit...
Why was she drunk anyway? I mean,
Off milk.
I know for babies, but it doesn't really make sense for a child.
No, it's just, she's doing adult stuff. Funny.
If she'd just been like sleepy, but she was kind of surly, and that didn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just bored of them doing the whole, the kid has had too much to drink of anything, so they're drunk now. Like how we saw Bart and Nelson.
Yeah, with apple juice.
Yeah. Oh, we've been poking foil all night.
Fun fact, apple juice makes Mark Cuban pee his pants. Mate, wrong person. Fuck.
Makes them all pee their pants. Billionaires all pee their pants. And my final note, going to end on a positive, but a not so positive one. It's a B positive one. Where they had the bee bloopers. The bee was trying to like sting the mannequin.
Yeah, there was more of that. That was
Yeah,
funny.
me too. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Bee attendance, it was like 498,000 or whatever. Yeah, not too bad.
My favorite part of the episode, and it was all of 30 seconds.
I love that, because the bee's like stinging the guy. He's like, like trying to write it quickly up on
He
the
is
screen.
dedicated to that job.
Yeah. He's like, maybe they'll spare me if they see what I'm doing.
It is time to rank this thing on the Simpsons Index. I didn't have enough breath for that.
I was about to say.
I know, you really burned yourself out there.
You're going to Beastie Boys it.
It is time to rank this thing.
Yep.
I mean, bees, DB.
Yeah.
It is time to rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale that starts down the bottom at failure. But maybe if the episode was
meh,
you give it a participant. But for the
good
rankings, we got good,
bronze,
great.
Oh no, we're supposed to do it together because that's how they all say the third word of every 3 words.
Don't
you all do it
tell
together.
me to rank.
So we got good bronze, great silver, excellent gold. But for the best of the very
best,
we have cubic zirconia. This went great.
Yeah, this is totally not going to get edited out.
Can you believe, audience, this was one take?
I can.
Let me go first. Let me show you how it's done. I am giving this one a participant. This is the most participanty participant that ever participated. BT, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I was on like a mid-participant until I realized that Muckmoo bit is not actually based off of anyone, so it's a low participant now, but it's still a participant. It's so very forgettable. I actually have seen this one and forgot everything that happened.
Totally. Jordan, finish it off.
Sticking with an insect theme.
Ooh, and
Here
sticking
we go.
like
I'm going to
honey.
give it a partic ant.
Well done. I give that joke a participant.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about as funny as it gets in my life and on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, hooray.
All right, guys, this will be a unanimous participant. This will be joining other unanimous participants, such as Prankster Rap, which we reviewed in the Teenage Wasteland, My Fair Laddie, My Fair Lady.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make an episode called My Fair Lardy, just to complete the, A vowel sounds. Make it something about a fat guy. I
Or
don't know.
Die Fair Lady.
No.
So they've replaced one of each word.
Yeah, nice one.
Oh, and it'll be joining other season 20 participants like Take My Life, Please, which was the first HD era episode. That's where Homer stares into the fortune telly soup.
That was an odd one.
Oh, yeah, the spaghetti sauce or something or whatever it is, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
God, that sounded really weird.
It is.
And also Father Knows Worst, which we reviewed in the last HD Wasteland,
Yep.
where Homer, the helicopter parenting, which I
Yeah.
think we're all like, we kind of wanted to give it a bronze, but it just didn't get up there.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's just so funny still metaphorically that an episode about helicopter parenting just never really got off the ground.
Hey! This is the birth of Elliot's comedy career.
All right, before we move on to the next one, is that reputation justified?
Is that reputation justified?
Using the new variant. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it.
I forgot about that one.
If
Good
you
one.
can't beat it, join it.
I think the old one was fine. It's
It's
just
fine, but come on. I know I'm outclassed.
So yeah, fighting out of the blue corner is Robert Canning of IGN.
Ooh, Robert the Feather Touch Canning.
He says 7 out of 10 for good.
That's a 5 out of 10 in everyone else's speak.
Yeah.
With an episode like this, I'm never really annoyed by anything or find myself frustrated with the plot. I just don't laugh as much as I would have liked. I'm going to chalk Burns and the Bees up to lazy writing because I think the series can still do better than this.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, but considering
Yeah.
IGN's scale starts at 5 out of 10,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty much it, right?
God.
Yep, and fighting out of the red corner is a new one for us. Steve Heisler of the AV Club.
Steve the Hustler Heisler.
That's what, yeah.
Drives a Chrysler.
He gave this episode a B. No pun. He actually did. Which on their scale is actually kind of bronze-ish, maybe erring on silver, but not really. Sadly, the Birds and the Bees fell into the newish Simpsons trap. They tried to cram 2 major storylines into one already crammed episode. I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
I don't really think... It's not an already crammed storyline, and they're not very dominant storylines unto themselves.
Yeah.
And they weren't major.
But I also really have no enthusiasm for counter-arguments, so...
We say this a lot, but, if you just focused on one or
Yeah.
split them out or whatever, great. You can have one episode where you just talk about, what did you say before? Colony collapse. I feel like you've, researched that.
Oh, yeah, Connolly collapse disorder. Yeah, that's when Billy Connolly's family.
He just gets too drunk or,
Oh, I fucking...
he just falls over.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes me disappointed at this episode because we see an old man and the Lisa, the little Lisa animal slurry.
Yep.
We have these two opposites in Lisa and Burns in so many ways that they do make great foils for each other.
Yep.
Yeah, there was potential for these stories to work. It's just a shame they didn't. All right, guys, that was the 428th episode of The Simpsons. Now we're going all the way back to the 326th with Smart and Smarter. And we are back, and we just watched our Teens Era episode, which was Season 15, Episode 13, Smart and Smarter. First released in February of '04, it was directed by Stephen Dean Moore and written by one of my favourites, Carolyn Omni. In this episode, it's discovered that Maggie has a higher IQ than Lisa, and so Lisa gets super insecure about it, and she tries to sabotage Maggie's learning, and then in her shame, she runs away from home. Guys, what did you think?
It's some fun.
Yeah, it's better than the last one.
A marked improvement.
Yeah. For a season 15 episode, not too bad.
I mean, it has a plot, keeps a consistent tone,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those things.
There are some actual heart moments.
Yep,
And
I get some laughs. I get
Yeah.
some okay, almost laughs. I think this one might suffer a lot from the fact that I have seen it a few times before.
Mhm.
So a lot of it's lost impact.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just first off, play count. How many times have you seen this before today?
Or maybe.
Jordan?
I think I've seen it before, but it's been a long time.
Yep. Fun fact about me, this episode was the very last episode I ever recorded onto a VHS tape.
Wow.
Wow, historic.
Memories.
Yeah, so I had a few episodes recorded to tape here and there from The teens era ones that stick to mind are like when Santa's Little Helper becomes the new Duff Spokes dog. And yeah, the Artie Ziff one that we reviewed with Maddie recently where...
The Redux Prom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this one, like, I've got a weird nostalgia for it, but I do sort of recognize, and it has been a while since I've seen it as well, that, yeah, it isn't the greatest episode, and it probably wasn't justified seeing it like 25 or 30 times for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, this was the olden days. We had to watch what you could. Incidentally, just for our home viewers, what does VHS stand for?
Video Hyper System. I don't know, actually.
No reason. I just wanted to throw that out there.
BT, for better or worse, what is a moment from this episode that stands out to you?
I really like that we do actually move to a Lisa storyline because there's only so much you can get from Maggie.
Yep.
But I do like Lisa's little identity crisis when she's like, if I'm not the smart kid, who am I going to be now? And I like that she tries a few different things out and to varying degrees of success, most of them terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, stand-up comic and goth girl with Raven Crow Never Smiles.
Yeah.
Kind of wish they'd stuck with it maybe a little bit more because a lot of the times they have they used to go to the sight gag of her running in and being a different thing and then just changing. Nothing really goes wrong except for the soccer one. It's a bit of a shame. It feels like there was something else to get there. But I like the idea that, yeah, I think we've all had that moment of like, who am I?
What do I do in
What's
this
my
world?
thing? Like,
Yeah.
which archetype am I in my friend group?
Am I the George? Oh, shit.
You think you're a Jerry and realize you're a George.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the Kramer, thinks they're Jerry, and is actually the George. That's the old saying.
Well, if you're a George, you know what to do, though.
Mm-hmm.
You just do the
opposite.
opposite of everything that you think.
Yeah, I agree with you because even the stand-up comic and the goth thing, I didn't really enjoy that much of how either of those things
it was
played
more
out.
the idea.
Yeah.
Like, she is kind of an ass to Millhouse, who's like, you want to go to the cemetery and make out? She's like, make out with this rock for an hour. I was like, you could just say no.
Oh, and then Millhouse is like, yes, mistress. That was like...
The character models for some of them were a bit creepy as well. Like the goth one made her look really quite strange. Looked really weird in her head. Her eyes were huge compared to the size of her head. And
Well, yeah, because that black eyeliner just makes your eyes pop.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was an interesting sequence. I did like her Smithers-inspired Whippet costume as well.
Yeah, that was a weird... I'm going to try and be a cowboy today.
Yeah, hey,
Lisa.
Does she crack Millhouse's sandwiches in half?
Yeah, again,
Okay.
just shitting on Millhouse. Poor kid.
How about you, Jordan? What is a moment from this episode that stands out to you for better or worse?
It's just that opening sequence with the kind of escalating violence in the bathroom.
Oh, with the squat and squirt.
Yeah, like it kind of goes out and it's like a harmless prank, but then it's like they're really beating on each other. Like the strangling and like the shoving the electric toothbrush like right up his nose, and then, you know.
I kind of feel like that was saved by deferring from what was going on and go, I'm taking everyone out for pancakes. And later on, do we ever turn that water off?
Yeah, taking everyone from the tacos or nachos or whatever.
And then, Marge was happy with this. Like,
Yeah.
yay, tacos. Because you know Marge, she can't resist tacos.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved that bit as well because they were like, almost thought they were in trouble. And it's like, what's going on in there? It's Old Lady Simpson. Like, I really enjoyed that moment, but I kind of agree their actual fight was a bit tedious.
much,
Yeah. I think it's also because this is the missing link between, you know, like early Simpsons violence where it's just like a strangle or whatever, and then you get to like Love is a Many Strangled thing where it's like explicitly, you know.
Or where Mr. Burns just shoots a dude and you watch him bleed.
Yeah, where like the wacky violence got like, oh, this is getting a little bit over the top now.
Yeah.
I guess because they had to escalate it at some point. So
Yes, but even then it's like, get it? He's bleeding.
No, that's
Whereas
too much.
this one, it was like a Bart and Homer fight using the props that were available to them in the bathroom. You know, the electric toothbrush up the nose, the toilet brush in the mouth. Ew.
I think what maybe bothered me was that they were kind of like going, ha 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 ha, but it was almost like that type of laughter where you like kind of malicious. It was filled with malice, rather. It wasn't malicious.
Right.
Yeah.
It made me go a bit like, oh,
This laughter is a mask.
You're really taking it too far, both of you. Please,
I don't know. I think it was a funny way to open the episode, though, and I appreciated Homer his prank just going awry from the very second it started. And then him getting pushed on the toilet and he's doing the exact same pose as the
guy on the box, yeah.
And
Yeow.
says, "Yeow." He obviously doesn't know when Bart poops. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys. I have a schedule.
Wow.
I'm like 10:30.
Well, that's my question to you. When you were living with anybody, did you have an idea of their poop schedule?
No, I just think I don't have a child, but I figure that I'd be like, oh, okay, I know when things are because you're ready to be like, did you wash your hands or whatever?
Yeah, that's right. I did kind of forget that when you're a parent, your child's feces is actually a very big part of your life now.
Huge.
Yep.
Massive.
And I'd say the moment from the story that stood out to me was the whole museum thing. Like, it was something that I quite enjoyed about the story, but also when you start picking apart the big human display, the story starts to become undone, you know?
Yeah.
If you think about it too much, yeah.
Yeah, like, why is there a walkway up to go to the tongue even?
If it can swallow people, yeah.
Was that control deck always there when Lisa was walking up? I don't think it
Look,
was.
No, it was a Homer's Watch thing.
I think if you're familiar with museums, all you have to know is when you notice something like that, a wizard did it.
Oh, right. Because, if you know your history of wizards...
It's a dark and blood-filled
you read
tale.
the plaques on all the things in a museum and it just says wizard did it.
It's ironic, really, that they called it the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
When it was nothing natural going on in that building.
The entire world is just a synth.
It's a farce.
Yep. People are all like, oh, the earth is round. Oh, the earth is flat. Wizards is like, it's whatever we want it to be.
Today it's a triangle.
Yeah, fuck you. What are you going to check?
Yeah, once you pick apart and the whole walkway up to the human thing, I think it's weird. And it's also, why are these functions there? How does they get food into that giant model? Anyway, I have questions.
Yeah, it's like that, the museum in Tasmania, the really weird one.
Oh, the modern art one with the machine that digests.
That
and
simulates
shits.
the human stomach.
Fuck, the thing is stupid.
Fuck, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
feed it and then they kind of simulate it like getting digested and then pooping and stuff. It smells
It smells bad.
Really?
bad. Oh, can you imagine?
It sounds like so much fun, though.
What was
It's
the name of the place called? It's the one with all the vaginas.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, literally. He's not even literal wall of like plaster cast
Vaginas, all different kinds.
I mean, to be literal, it's labias, but you know.
Yeah. The whole thing is basically underground as well. It's a bizarre place.
There's a machine that shits and it makes you hate art because it exists.
There was a room where you could just go in and sit on a chair and you got given like a pair of like industrial headphones and you just sat there in silence and looked out the window.
Well, I thought you were talking about the room where they like get you to sort seeds.
Oh, yeah, counting the rice and the lentils. Yeah, there was another one. There was a Marina Abramovich installation where you go into this plain white room, there's people in lab coats, and you do not talk. You just get a piece of paper and a pencil, and they dump a whole pile of rice and lentils mixed up in front of you, and you've just got to count how many of each there are. You can do as many as you want or as little as you want. Stay for as long as you like.
Yeah.
It's just like a social experiment, and they film it.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a Zen thing of something. I don't know. And then I kind of butted heads with one of the museum curators who's all like, oh, did you enjoy it? Like, no, I mean, I felt like I got it already. It's like, well, I don't think you ever really get it. Yes, I got it. I get art. Fuck you. Was in my head. I didn't say that out loud, but you know.
But yeah, it's a strange place.
Wasn't that the place that had like 2 parking spaces? One said God and the other says God's bitch.
Yeah, I think so.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's funny.
Visit Tasmania today.
Yeah.
See, vaginas. The Simpsons Index, not brought to you by Tasmanian Tourism.
Well, yeah, the shitting machine as well. Like, it's just, how does this machine play out as well? Does this thing actually shit? Because it isn't implied. Maggie hit the red button. It said evacuate. The Simpsons were evacuated.
Into the pool, yeah.
So is that what happens with this display? I have questions.
Let's just assume that every hour on the hour, museum attendants come up and feed it pills and put it through its digestive process so people can learn about the body. I guess.
No, it's like a volunteer. It's kind of like the lottery.
Oh, wow.
And
Brutal.
then they just shove a person in there to make sure the crops grow.
So what did you guys think about the police as well getting swept up in the puzzles of the museum as well?
Again, I like the idea. I don't think they quite landed it with the jokes.
Yeah. I mean, I get what we're trying to do. It's not very natural history museum. That's more like a science museum, I would say. Stuff like that.
Let's assume it's basically Questacon.
Yeah. But I mean, it distracted. It didn't detract, but it distracted, I think from the
that's a fair way to
story.
put it.
Yeah. At least it sort of kept looking like the police were involved in this story. And to be fair, they were the ones who did find Lisa. But yeah, I won't be filling out a positive comment card for them in the future, that's for sure.
I guess you don't want Lisa to be found then.
Yeah, what'd you guys think of that? Because I'm not actually into that joke.
They do it in... My story's exempt because we're too small and we don't do it.
Yeah.
But it's really, really fucking stupid because, sorry to detract, but I feel this is important.
That's right.
1 to 5 is a detractor. 6, 7...
1 to 6. 1 to 6 is detractor, 7 and 8 is neutral, and 9 and 10 are promoters.
And what's dumb as fuck is this, is they don't look at the comments when they're rating your store. So people's like bonuses and shit rely on this. And so you get people who go in, don't do anything big, and just grab something and leave. And when they go to review it, they're like, oh, 5, that's fine. I did nothing. And so, but that counts as a detractor. That counts as a negative to them when the person was, then you read it and like, was totally happy. You're like, fuck, this is stupid.
Yeah.
So getting a 10 is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And it's
very
annoying. It's a dumb as fuck system. But.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's the same as people yelling throughout their podcast, give us a 5-star on iTunes. By the way, give us a 5-star on iTunes. Like, that'd be good.
That'd be real good.
I'm not going to downgrade the quality of the podcast if you don't give us a 5-star review. We just really like one.
Yeah, our sponsor, Nobody, will just be angry.
Don't you think we deserve a 5-star review?
We do.
Don't you have a lot of fun listening to us?
How about the wackiness of this episode?
Oh, yeah, Bart's confusing biology. He gets the water spout shoved in his mouth and it like starts spurting out his ears.
Yeah, I don't like when they go too cartoony on their anatomy, stuff like that, because it happens with Homer all the time.
Yeah.
His head expands and shit.
I mean, look, a whole working body in a museum is pretty wacky.
Well, so is Maggie's potential classes, Advanced Peekaboo and Got Your Nose and Other Lies.
I did love those. Those were very cute.
Yeah, and I guess we can talk about this in terms of wackiness. Homer's obsession with the phonics frog.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some of my favorite material of this episode.
Yeah. I mean, a bit brutal when he comes back and says, Homer is very disappointed in you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, a bit brutal there, man.
Oh, but when he's sleeping,
Yeah, that was great.
That was good. I think we all laughed at that.
Yeah, and like from the get-go, when like he realized this is how Oma is doctor, he is too sick to work today. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Although Jordan's anal corner, the word ha-oma is the only one it's said out phonetically.
Yeah.
All the other ones are the full words.
All the other words were just the same.
I think it would, from a comedic pacing, I think it would have just been annoying to do the whole thing like that.
Yeah.
As long as we're in the JAC.
Yes.
Sorry, that
the jacket. You going to jacket? All right, go for it.
God damn you.
Sorry.
Lisa has a saxophone where we see her running away and she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to say there's no way it fits in her bag.
No.
Yeah, that too.
We may as well get them out of the way. The Jordan's Anal Corner. The geography of their house doesn't work. Because, okay, you go up the stairs, you turn right and the bathroom is there, right?
Uh-huh.
Except when they're like, oh, did we ever turn off that water? It falls above the couch. But the couch is like in front of the stairs.
Yep. And even then, the bathroom has been shown to be the other side of the hall as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're watching you, Simpsons.
Yeah, we saw.
We'll be watching you.
So, other wacky moments, fantasies we kind of, and dreams we put into the wackiness category. So, Lisa has a dream that's based on whatever happened to baby Jane?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this dream sequence here?
She looked crazy.
It did look creepy and crazy, so that worked quite well.
Yeah, that looked like Lisa from the daddy-daughter gambling episode. Give me some more chips.
Also, the idea that Maggie grew up to be like a girl who just doesn't speak and still has a dummy. Incredibly creepy.
And still has the phonics frog, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've always managed to make a good joke about Maggie in the future and excusing her for not talking.
Yeah, I do really like the Lisa wedding in the future one where it's every time she just gets interrupted.
Yeah, and they even make a big deal that she's a singer as well. She's got a stellar voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was, to me, another example. But yeah, there is an added layer of creepiness if she's still got a pacifier at whatever age that is.
Also on Wacky, one of the fancy school people, I don't know what to call them, walks in, Simon Cowell calls her and she walks in and goes, this better be good. I was choking on something. I didn't get it entirely, but I still got to laugh because it's a good way to enter a room.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we can talk about them and the wackiness of the ending and how it turned out Lisa was feeding Maggie the answers, which it was a bit, that's a convenient excuse, but I think they actually made it look believable and then went to the nth degree with and she gave the other answer, which was a California condor.
Doing the shadow puppets.
Yeah.
It's also led in with a bit of wackiness where it's like, how did you get in here? Oh, your butler let us in. And just cuts to Mo, who's like, I'll explain later, just play along.
I loved this.
I know. Yeah.
This little mini C story right at the end.
Where they just don't give you anything.
Yeah.
And you just want to know so much more.
That's good.
And the only other and final scene of this with Barney dressed up, oh, give me a hand, please, maid. You promised no one would get hurt. There was a plan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a plot, there's a plan, there's so much going on. I do really like that bit.
He looked great as well. Barney.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he
Yeah,
was
man.
all clean shaven, his hair
Yep.
was combed and shampooed, and he was
They
pulling
were
off that dress.
whatever
sir.
this heist is, they are working hard
Yeah.
on it and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, for real.
Motions
He,
2 because Oceans 12.
Oh,
I like it. I like it a lot.
Motions
Okay.
2.
gotcha. Homer's dolphin impression as well. That was pretty wacky,
Yeah.
but silly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I felt like that kind of ruined the joke of Homer. Hey, I got the same answer as her, Maggie. Yay!
Yeah.
And then he breaks out into a dolphin
Yeah,
impression.
because Simon Cowell was like, "This will make you smart as a dolphin."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Simon Cowell anyway?
He did fine.
It was fine. The only thing I didn't like was the credits bit
Oh.
because it was so close together and you're like, which name is he referring to?
Yeah.
But then there was some, like, a gap of like 5 seconds and then 1 and then a gap of 3 seconds and then a few squeezed in.
It's
And
whatever they could write jokes about, and not every. Yeah,
Yeah.
they couldn't fill it all up.
Yeah, in the teens era, The Simpsons were really getting into doing the improv over the credit scene. Like, you might remember from The Mansion Family where Homer's crying and saying that all these people are rich.
Not as rich as they should be, of
Yeah.
course.
Or in Bart Star, one of your favorite episodes, Jordan.
it keeps coming up. It's not my favorite. It's a good episode. I just really love the credits of
Yeah.
that one. That's,
Which one's that?
That's the You're Cut. Oh,
yeah.
Castellano, I already cut you.
You're cut too, Shushy.
Shushy. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool. You're cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what all you
Very
guys are doing here because you're all cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that moment from your favorite episode, Jordan.
But it-
And
Well, it's a good throwback
Fuck
to
yous
his
all.
favorite episode as well, because he says that a bunch in the episode.
yeah.
Martin is cut, Wendell is cut.
Yeah, so Simon Cowell was playing a character that was very much Simon Cowell.
Well, even in the credits, he says Simon Cowell as Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, how original.
yeah.
But yeah, in this episode, he is billed as Henry.
Henry.
How about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel bumps?
I mean, a little bit for Lisa feeling, out of place now and
Yeah.
a little bit lost and jealous and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Going through like a midlife crisis at the age of
Mhm.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, seeing as no one knows when the middle of their life is,
that's true. Oh, that's dark.
it's good enough to
Yeah.
have just have an ongoing
Yeah.
crisis.
I'd better start now just to be sure.
Get a head
Mhm.
start.
I really felt Maggie's frustration and kind of helplessness as
Yep.
well when she's
Mm.
at the controls
Yeah.
and she's very upset. She can't seem to help her family. She doesn't know what to do and
Yeah.
she's bawling.
Mhm.
It's very sad.
There's a nice little bit of Maggie vision where the buttons just turn to like fun play things. And
Yeah.
As it would, because she's a baby.
Yep.
Absolutely. And when Lisa comes back to the scene and she helps her and you see her tugging on the red dress, like, this is a heart moment that's also setting up the...
Yeah, the reveal of how Maggie is appearing to be a genius.
Yeah, because she gets it instantly. It's like, oh, right. I point to my dummy. I get it. Yeah, red. Gotcha.
Yep. I did like as well. It was a half a heart moment where Lisa was like apologizing to Maggie using words that she could not understand, surely. But like, I promise I'll be the role model.
Yeah.
Marge just cutting her off, being, for God's sake, just get her to press the button.
Bart drowning his father to stay afloat.
Yeah.
As you would.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you reckon? Did Lisa overstep with teaching Maggie that the word for dog was spelt octogenarian?
Yeah. See, when that happened, I was like, oh, I hope that gets sorted because I don't want to see this like take a dark turn or something.
Yeah.
and it be like Lisa ruining Maggie's chances at something or like.
Yeah.
And so when she was immediately punished or
Yeah.
for it, I was like, okay, thank goodness, right? That's good. And then that actually meant that Lisa went on a new path and kind of her story changed and went in a different direction. And I liked it a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, it gave her justification to leave in shame because what she did was fucking shameful.
Mhm.
And I felt like it was almost a character break, but then...
Yeah, well, the fact that we've built up to it a little bit with Lisa's
Yeah.
loss of identity and feeling like an idiot. And I do like Bart's line. It's like, with Marge and Homer, like, well, all the kids are smart. Some are just smarter than others. And
Yeah.
Bart's like, welcome to the others.
Yeah.
I love that he knows exactly,
Oh, yeah.
but he's totally okay with it.
He's
It's
gotten
like,
used to it.
the
Yeah.
others. It was a good act break. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had his time to be shocked and, like, no, he knows his place.
I think as well, in that moment where Homer does say, I agree with your mother, you've disappointed us.
Yeah.
She kind of runs off crying. It's hard, right? Because you think Lisa's a bit of an exception, but as a child, they really don't have any way of telling you how they're feeling or what emotions they're feeling or anything else. And it'd be hard for her to explain, like, I just need some kind of validation. I still want you to show me that, I'm not worth less or anything than I was the previous day after finding out that Maggie was supposedly very smart. And I think it would be very hard for her. And I think you kind of got that a bit.
There's that great back and forth with Marge. She's like, but if I'm not the smart kid, who am I? And Marge's like, I'm going to write something down and it'll let you know. Like, you are Lisa Simpson's like, I've already got one of those.
Yep, calling back to one of the biggest heart moments. I'd say the heartiest moment of the entire Simpsons run.
Wow.
The Mr. Bergstrom thing.
Yep, fair enough.
It's pronounced Boogerstrom.
Or Nerdstrom. I've often thought about doing advertising for the podcast in real life and just handing out bits of paper to people that say, you are Lisa Simpson.
That's good.
I like it.
And the other heart moment that I want to leave on is when Lisa does go to sleep on the tongue and she's like, she's got the picture of her family and she's all mad at them. Oh, stupid Maggie, you're stealing my thunder. And realizes she's on the bitter side of the tongue and not the sweet. Although Jordan's anal corner, we know tongues don't work that way.
They didn't even do it the right,
the way the people think that
it was always going to be like, oh, it's the tip versus the sides versus the middle or whatever. It wasn't even the right wrong.
I like your Louis Theroux voice there.
Thank you. I didn't even know I was doing it, but I'll keep
Wasn't the tip or the sides?
I know.
Or am I doing Ringo? I
It's
don't
a
even know
cutout
anymore.
bust of Queen Victoria. Help us. Help us.
So ultimately, though, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Sure.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. Lisa having trouble with not being the smartest person in town, essentially.
I think you could say that, Lisa had a character break by teaching Maggie the wrong word, but I think it was built up enough.
They earned it well enough. Maybe not as much as they could have.
And they also punished it, and Lisa responded by being shameful. So, it worked.
She's done, bad things before and regretted them, and I think she instantly regretted this one too as soon as she was found out. And it was just more the fact that her jealousy got control of her. And
as terms of feeling like a Simpsons episode on the whole, you can argue the first 5 minutes are just going between various shit until we arrive finally, because they're going out for pancakes, which they just happen to see Apu in line for the nursery, so they're like, oh, now this is all that the story's about.
Yeah, when are they gonna get pancakes?
So, yes or no, would you watch this one again?
Sure.
Yeah, I would. I would, actually.
Yeah, look, why not? I'm going to watch it again, maybe put it in a playlist. What playlist do we put it in?
Lisa's Identity. So put it in with when she goes to the beach and becomes a different person there.
Yeah.
Or meets Bleeding Gums.
Yeah, and I'd even say the Mr. Bergstrom episode as well.
I'd put it the one with the smart girl, what's
Allison.
Yeah, definitely.
But also
Lisa
Kudrow's character one as well.
Yep.
Where she's popular and Lisa has to deal with
Alex.
that.
Yep, sure. Maybe a Maggie playlist?
Yeah.
Simon Cowell appearances, pair it with that other one we watched with Simon Cowell in it where Mo becomes an American Idol judge.
Oh, and he's actually being Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
And I was about to say he's the answer to one of those trivia questions that I asked in one of those previous episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the weird specific playlist of celebrities that have played both themselves and another character in the Simpsons episodes.
This one doesn't really count since it's pretty much Simon Cowell anyway,
I know.
but
It wasn't a
it's
stretch.
Fine.
Nice original casting there.
Yeah, exactly. Children running away from home as well.
Oh, yeah, the runaway episode.
Stowing away in a public building. So where Bart hides in the mall.
Oh, yeah. Or also when Homer and Lisa go looking through the museum for the egg.
Orb of Isis or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of playlists this could fit in. So, BT, what would you change about this episode?
I'd spend a bit longer on Act 2. So maybe cut out a bit of those cop stuff that was eating up a lot of time.
Yep.
And just focus more on Lisa's loss of identity and earning those kind of moments we get a bit later.
Sure.
That'd be my main thing. Other than that, it all flows well enough. I think, maybe you could get away with the, gigantic human digestive system, but it serves a purpose, so fine, whatever. But I just feel that there was a little bit more time spent on that, because that's where our heart guts are. And I think there's also some jokes to be gotten from that as well.
Yeah, and you can see the heart guts in that translucent skin model.
They're right near the lung guts.
Jordan, what would you like to change?
I think what you said before about, nothing really goes wrong with her other things, she tips over Dolph's lunch or something with the soccer ball. But, with the goth thing, it's just Milhouse wants to kiss me now.
Yeah, I'm going to not be goth.
So I'm going to not be goth. I would have liked to have seen her, I don't know, try and do something a little bit different. And skip maybe the stand-up comedian bit because that wasn't that
And
funny.
that was the longest one. It had the least. You know what?
Yeah.
How about she listens to goth music but can't play sax to it? So
Yeah, just other little things.
Well, yeah, because on the stand-up bit as well, the point of that not working means that she has to tell a bunch of dud jokes, and that's all it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. I think you could have had ones where she's like, actually, I've always really wanted to be like this. And people are
Yeah.
like, no, you look like a
it's
dork
not
or whatever.
working, yeah.
But it was really just, she was almost her own saboteur, like with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
then we played 8 seconds of Who's That Girl?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, musical moments.
Yeah, that was the other one.
Segway.
By the Eurythmics.
Ah. It's like, was it,
Eurythmics, we all scream for Annie Lennox. Sorry?
was it Moon River that was playing as well? The montage of her in the museum after dark?
Oh, I
think
didn't
so.
recognize it. Just sounded like generic like
Oh, I think it
music for me. Yeah?
As she's like skating down the
Yeah.
back of the Brontosaurus or whatever it is.
Yeah. What I'd like to change about the episode, I don't know. It's just, it's not a great episode, but it is still good. I think, yeah,
You just gave away your rankings, sir.
yeah. I think, yeah, there was probably a bit too much on the police. There was just probably just things given too much time in different areas. Like, I think Homer's contributions to this episode were some of the biggest, like, downfalls for me. His weird racism bit where he's like, no matter if it's a pizza place or a pancake place, all the workers are Spanish. And his whole rant about Katie Couric being a successful dwarf and everything.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of jokes that I'd like to cut for better jokes, but I think mostly story structure and stuff, it's all there. Yeah, I agree. Give Lisa a bit more time with her hobbies and stuff. And yeah, actually see some of these go wrong. Like, what happened with Hip Hop Lisa? You know, I wanted to see her lose a rap battle or something.
I would have thought if she whipped Milhouse's sandwich in half, people would be like, yeah.
Nicely done.
Why did they include that? She'll never be a cowboy anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Well, actually, that's something I'd change. I want Lisa to acknowledge what she did as a negative a bit more, because it's sort of just implied that she ran away out of shame, but I think the story made it more seem like that if I can't find my identity here, I got to find it elsewhere.
Yeah, we went from I'm a bit bummed to I'm running away very quickly.
Yeah, and she needed to spend more time stewing in the fact that she fucked up majorly, and she absolutely shouldn't have done that to her sister.
Yeah.
BT, do you have any other notes?
Indeed, I do. There's a little sign that says, "Geysers, nature's boring miracle."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in another good visual as she's washing her hair.
Yeah.
I kind of like jokes like that where they're hiding out in the
The
location.
life in the museum kind of jokes. Yeah, I wish we got a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and they're using all those things to their advantage.
Or when she's hiding in that display and it looks like the sun is rising and then she kind of
It's
like
just her
pops
hair.
up and it's just her hair.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was very cute.
Very clever.
Homer's putting up like missing posters that say "free beer." Now that I have your attention, find my girl.
Yeah.
P.S. No free beer.
That was very good.
Not bad. Another variation on the sex, now that I got your attention, vote for Bart.
Yeah.
It's an old one,
Yeah,
but it's a
exactly.
good one.
My last is one that I shouldn't like given the character it comes from, but I kind of like it as a slogan in general, which is when
Yeah.
Apu's like, "We've only got enough tuition for 2 of you. The other one's better luck next life."
Yeah.
So given the fact that it's, obviously a riff on his Hindu beliefs is a bit of a problem, but I like it just as a slogan or something to yell at your enemies before you kill them. Better luck in your next life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I know.
You saved at the save point. Less cool.
Yeah.
Quick save, motherfucker.
Jordan, do you have any other notes?
I certainly do. Wow, you're smart enough to teach at Florida University.
Oh.
Sick burn on Florida
Take that.
University.
F you.
Yeah. F you.
We love you, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah?
When Lisa's looking sad and Marge comes in and goes, "What's the matter, honey? Did the last of something die?"
Yeah. Just like, oh, here we go, the old extinction thing
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
Here's a question.
Mhm.
How did you feel about Nelson just saying, "You're gay" to Lisa? I think it was of the time.
I think they do kind of illustrate as being something a bully of the time would
Yeah.
say. Like, it feels like the character is saying it, not the show.
But then Lisa's like, "Well, actually, people who call other people gay are often masking their own latent homosexuality."
Yeah.
And then he just, and like bursts out the fire door and rolls and says, "Boys rule?"
Bullies rule.
Oh,
Yeah.
bullies rule. I thought he said boys rule, and I'm like, is he confirming then? Okay,
Nah.
but bullies rule. Okay, that makes more sense.
More sense, but it's not like right. I would have been like,
Yep.
if he'd said, "Well, you're latent," not really understanding what she was
Yeah.
saying.
Hmm.
kind of gets what she's going on about a little too much.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say it's one of these things where, I've proved you this is a really dumb thing to say, but I don't feel like it was done in a clever way.
No.
And it is something that we need to address. And I do have a family member that I keep fucking arguing with over because they keep saying, oh, that's gay. And it's just so trite at this point.
Yeah.
It's so...
Pretty weak sauce.
It's just you can't think of another word because he argues that's all he's doing. He's just substituting it for the word lame, and that's not about homosexuality.
So say lame then.
Yeah. But I'm not going to say in front of Mum, oh, Mum, this cake fucks. You know, I'll say to Beach when we're eating some cake, oh, Beach, this cake fucks. But, you know...
Do you actually say that?
I don't know what point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. I was about to say, wow.
Yeah, you're making the point of even though you can substitute some words for other words, given context, it's usually not a good idea.
And so 100% of the time now, you're not going to be finding yourself in a situation where saying that's so gay will work in context because it's just a horrible thing to say.
I realized I had two other quick little jaunters in the corner.
No.
Thank you. One is that it's canon now. Apu has found a girlfriend, married, given birth to octuplets. They've grown up. They're old enough to go to pre-kindergarten now, and Maggie is still the same age.
Yep.
It still seems a little bit bizarre, but that's fine. And the other one was, their stomach that they were in, and they kept changing size, because when they are knocked off the tongue, they're hanging onto the uvula, like it's this massive chasm below them, like huge. You can't even see the bottom. And then there's points where it's like they're in the stomach, and not even one of their heads would fit through the tube, the
there's
esophagus.
a bit where it cuts back, and you just see Marge and Homer, and it's tiny at that point, and then it's another angle, and it's big.
And they're big, and they're floating all separately, and everything else. And that was just a bit like, The other thing was, there's so many witnesses to Lisa. Like, Skinner keeps seeing her all over the place.
So can we talk about this Skinner guy? This is one of my favorite parts of the episode, but it's weird for him just to be cutting down Lisa at every turn.
And that he appears so many times,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all organic. It's in the school and then at the Quickie Mart.
I think their feeling was if to do that joke multiple times with different people would feel more out of place than with the same person.
Oh, yeah.
The thing that makes it a bit more unrealistic is that she's standing outside the Quickie Mart and the doors are shut. She says something, the door's open, Skinner comes out and then does the line. But I think
But that was one of my favorites. I've got 2 cents. Surely people have started off with less.
It's like, nope.
Never less than $1, yeah.
And it's time for my final notes.
Yes, it is.
Go on, then.
We never got theme song for that.
Yeah, I know.
Final notes.
When they're lining up for the preschool or whatever, and Marge has got Maggie into that, all she should have to worry about is the raspberry monster. There's just a weird, awkward, janky movement when she's giving Maggie the raspberry and the camera sort of moves and then the Simpsons walk in and they're just like awkwardly smiling at the situation.
Yeah, they just stand there for a good 2 or 3 raspberries just watching. It's a bit unnerving, actually.
I thought you were going to talk about how she exposes Maggie's stomach like her clothing is like a skirt and shirt. Instead of just one big smock.
Or maybe she knows how to pick the lock off the onesie with her mouth. She is a devious raspberry monster.
Yes, it's true. That raspberry monster will get you.
This summer.
Yep.
So then after that scene that they get rejected for Maggie to go to the school, and then Marge at home goes, my daughter has no future. It's like, she's 1.
Yeah, you've gone through this with Lisa, that you can't afford the good schools. And stuff. Yeah. I mean, I know they have to drive the story.
Future, like, that was a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Homer's line, though, of, that's okay, she'll marry a grocer. They don't make much. One who steals from the till.
You need to let me finish.
Yeah, I kind of like that as well. We got a bit of time wasting as well with the cops that he was like, oh, she's 8. I thought you said 80.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, it was just, some of these time-wasting things, like, as well later on when it's like, what causes thunder? I think it's angels bowling. It
was also stupid. Like the genuine befuddlement at all these, like, optical illusions and things. That was fine, but be like, angels bowling doesn't fit what they were doing at that point.
Yeah, it's just that Markov's too stupid.
Yeah.
I liked Comic Book Guy, though, as he was getting the food lifted off him as well. Go ahead. You'll never find it all. Baking muffins as we speak.
Yeah. That does not sound good.
No.
I don't know where or what.
That's where.
Yeah. I was thinking like back rolls, muffins. But still, like, you don't want to eat them.
No.
Betty Crocker's back roll muffins.
Sorry, don't put this in, but I remember seeing like a text push from Tumblr where it's like, do you know that the human butt is warm enough to hard boil an egg? And then someone's replied like, oh no, I'm not falling for that one again.
It's a good bit.
Very good. Again, more time wasting where they're putting up the signs, free beer. It didn't work for the fondue set. Oh, why'd you take the children, not the fondue set? Why, Santa? Again, too dumb. I shouldn't be bringing up all these negative notes right at the end of this conversation.
I think you should.
It's really going to clash with your cubic zirconia
I know,
rating.
right?
Fuck, I can't talk.
And my final note, and appropriate given this was the last episode that I taped, they ended it up with showing The Simpsons a tape of the test and how Lisa was cheating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There was a tape involved. That's
Tape.
what I wanted to say.
VHS.
Which just so happened to be the camera angles that we as the audience were also watching.
Yup.
Yes.
Convenient camera angles.
Mhm.
It is time to rank this thing. Jordan, your turn to kick it off.
No, bronze. I am going to give it a bronze.
Yep.
Considering whether it goes any higher, I don't think it's good enough to go any higher than a bronze. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would watch it again, and that's like the kind of that cutoff. Some nice heart, which you don't often get in teens, so it's refreshing to see that. Yeah, pretty good. So bronze.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm giving it a bronze. Look, I was actually bordering on a participant for it, but there is a lot about this episode that I like, and definitely enough to push it up into the good rankings, one where I'd say that I'd watch it again. But, I mean, I just want to say for the audience at home right now that, yeah, I'm not quite sure why I watched this episode so much. And I've been thinking about why I would. And back in the day, you know, I was sick of all the Simpsons that were on syndication. And it was just sort of refreshing to see the Simpsons doing some new stories, I think. And so, yeah, I think that's why I was gobbling it up back in the day. But, yeah, it's not one that I'm actively going to revisit, but I'm certainly not turning it off if it's on. BT, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to sit on a bronze as well. I was, halfway through debating bronze or participant, but no, I have a good enough time that this one's worth a bronze, but not too good of a time that it's worth a silver.
Yeah.
It's got a fair story. It's consistent throughout. It could maybe use its time a bit better, but you know what? It's not a bad time at all.
All right. Well, that will make this a unanimous bronze. It'll actually be the first bronze from season 15 to be entered into the spreadsheet.
Wow.
It'll be joining other bronzes as Homer's Night Out from season 1. Remember with the dancer and all that?
Mm-hmm.
The Trouble with Trillions with Burnsy and the $1 trillion bill and the trip to Cuba.
Yep, I feel like I enjoyed this one more than that one. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a weirdly flat episode. And also Take My Wife's Sleaze, the motorcycle
bikers,
one, and John Goodman and all that.
This feels about on par with that.
Yeah, I'd say so. And The Falcon and the Doll Man, that weird Kiefer Sutherland episode.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, that one. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It was weird. It wasn't really an episode of The Simpsons, but it was enjoyable television.
Yeah. Got to see some guy just like flamethrowered to death.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and Homer is trapped under ice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Kiefer Sutherland show featuring The Simpsons.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was the 322nd episode of The Simpsons. We are going all the way back to the 157th with Burns, Baby Burns. We'll be back.
Burns, baby, burns. It's going burn.
And we are back, and we just watched our classic episode for the evening. This was Season 8, Episode 4, Burns, Baby Burns. First released in November of 96, directed by Jim Reardon, written by Ian Maxtone Graham, and this was actually his first writing credit for the series.
Wow.
Yeah, and Ian Maxtone Graham is a writer that, I absolutely adore. He was working on the series as a consultant prior to this. And yeah, he is, as some people might know, the model for the very tall man from 22 Short Films.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, the one
Good to
that
know.
Nelson finds something funny about the way he drives his automobile.
Yep.
Well, everyone needs to drive, even the extremely tall.
Even Ian Maxtone Graham.
Even Ian Maxtone Graham.
And in this episode, the Simpsons go out to an apple cider mill, and on the way they meet a hitchhiker who is actually Mr. Burns' son, who turns out to be a loud, oafish, boorish character. You know, someone that Homer Simpson could be friends with, but not someone that Mr. Burns can be proud of as a son. Guys, what did you think?
we've been laughing about it ever since, and just it's hard to restrain yourself from not talking about it immediately afterwards.
It is a lot of fun, this one.
Yeah, I'm really glad. That cider factory bit is just one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And it's now 40% quainter.
Yes. Mount Schwarzwälder.
yeah, it's the Mount Swartzwelder or whatever. Yeah, named after Simpsons writer John Swartzwelder.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I think we do have to immediately mention that great joke at the very beginning of, what a beautiful day. I'm sure glad we're not at home watching the 7th game of the World Series like all those schmucks. Yeah, poor them. They won't learn anything about apples today.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine like Game 7 of the World Series and you just don't get to watch it because your wife has said, no, we're going to an Apple thing.
Must be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why not caring about sports opens your world up.
Yeah, I just realized who I said that to, so I take it back.
Yeah, but I equally don't care about Apple Mills either.
Yeah, we'll switch it out for... Good thing we're not any of those people sitting down to watch Nintendo Direct today.
Oh my god, could you imagine missing that? That'd be fucked.
Imagine. Yeah,
But you won't learn anything about apples today.
Yeah, this opening Orchard, the Apple Mill bit, I feel like people would actually remember the two events of this episode as two different episodes.
Yeah.
It would make a really good game to be like, pick the opening to the episode plot, because if you'd gone, it's the Larry Burns episode, I'd be going, cool. I have no idea how that one starts. I remember Mr. Burns is on the train.
And then, no, where the Simpsons start. At home? But to be fair, I really do like the way the very early on intersection of the two plot lines when the Simpsons are driving home, they see Larry as a hitchhiker.
Because I was thinking about it as I was watching it going, oh, okay, so you see they leave, the leaf falls down and flies away and it just moves to New England. You're like, but at the time I was like going, because I was consciously thinking about how do they tie together, and that's a cop out. And then later on, it's like, okay, you did well, Simpsons.
It also ties into Mr. Burns' long history of being a Yale man.
Yep. I don't know why the Harvard boys even showed up. They barely won.
Yeah.
Their cheating was even more flagrant than usual.
Yeah, so there is a bit of continuity there with Mr. Burns, and it's not something that I acknowledged as a kid. And
no, I was actually at the point of thinking, that side bit's fun, but I guess it's just a throwaway beginning. Then I completely forgot they intersected. So
yeah, and you can sort of see why it's there, because I did feel like watching this episode on this rewatch with the critical eye that the third act does kind of drag.
Yeah, I found myself writing fewer notes in that third act. Yeah. But I think it was because it was mainly like, it was more trying to finish up the plot real quick, not as many like really punchy jokes like it was. Because, I mean, literally that first side a bit, because they spend a good 2.5 minutes, I'd say, and it's all good quality comedy, like it's so funny.
Yeah,
and it really
would you say that is the moment from the story that stands out to you for better or worse?
Yeah, it's all the bits from the side of things are just so fucking good. The running into the Flanders, the bit with Homer's brain going away.
Yeah, the fact that Ned Flanders and his family felt the need to get a loyalty card to this place.
What I really like is the season pass down the bottom. He's number 000001.
Yeah, he is the first person to have ever gotten it.
Well, it pays for itself on the 16th visit.
And you have never forgotten what the difference between cider and juice is, have you? Clear and yellow, you got juice there, fella. If it's staying in brown, you're in cider town. Now, there's 3 quintons.
I do want to hear the rest of that.
Yeah.
There are two exceptions. Of course, in Canada, it's all backwards.
Well, you can stay, but I'm leaving. I literally said that earlier this evening. Yeah.
Oh, my. Looks like you need some cider.
I did love that side whistle, too, of the brain leaving.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, like, old school cartoon.
Yeah.
So the juice being yellow, cider being brown, this is a reference to the toilet thing, right?
I didn't know.
If it's yellow, let it mellow.
No.
If it's brown, flush it down.
No.
I think that's just a happy coincidence.
That's just more things are yellow and brown than poop and pee.
Oh, right. See, when my brain does the slide whistle and leaves, it just goes straight to the toilet.
And then there was a bit in between where it wasn't really advancing the story at all. It was just Marge and Lisa walking around in the fall. And again, but there's still some awesome quotes from both of them with the next to spring and winter, fall is my favorite season. And then, like foliage and nuclear and all of those. It doesn't take a nuclear scientist. And it's this thing where, and we're probably going to talk about it later, saying that they could have spent more time doing this or this or this.
Yeah.
But Oh,
It's so quotable.
do you have the heart to cut these bits out of the
and
episode?
I love the throwback when she's like, I can't escape Lisa.
Oh.
Yeah. A little library. Yeah.
And you'll see Lisa's face just, cringing.
It reminds me of your face has gone all red like a strawberry.
Yeah. Yeah, from Scrubs. I love that line. I quote it often. But
Anyway, sorry, I've hijacked the whole thing.
Because I thought that moment was great as well, because we didn't actually hear Lisa's reaction to that. Mom, you got it wrong again.
Yeah.
You just saw her face. And it was the same when they were leaving the cider place. Bart looked completely bored.
Yeah.
And, we didn't really hear from Bart in this episode at all. So, yeah, having this little moment of just the visual being true to character that, he'd find a cider place boring. How about you, BT? What is a moment from this episode that stands out to you for better or worse?
I really like how he reset to 0.
Yeah?
So there's that, heart-to-heart moment between Larry and Mr. Burns. And he's like, can't you just accept me for who I am? They hug, and there's the music, and he's just like, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just not who I am.
Yeah,
and you're like, that's actually very true.
And Larry's cool with it as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got a family of my own. I better get back to them. I said I was going for coffee. That was a week ago. It fits for everyone. You get a good chuckle out of it, and then all of a sudden there's a party.
It's a party mode. You don't have to. It doesn't
much like the end of many Rodney Dangerfield movies.
Yeah. And we should talk about Rodney Dangerfield in this episode. He killed it.
Oh, yeah.
God,
100%.
he's just doing Rodney Dangerfield so well, isn't he? Yeah.
I know, but there wasn't many chances for him to do this in the 90s, so I'm so glad he put his name and voice talents to a Simpsons episode.
And it was absolutely his comedy as well.
Yeah.
So, it was great. I love when the kids kind of emulate that a little bit.
They're doing the roast of Marge.
Yeah.
And then all it takes is for him to go, hey, kids, how about a hand for your ma? She's all right.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's the exact bit of insult, but go, hey, you're okay.
Yeah.
What were the birds, though? Bart was like, I couldn't get a zoning permit if I was trying to get hair like yours.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to get hair, but they wouldn't get zoning permit.
Buckingham
Palace called.
called.
They want their hat back.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm so glad that they managed to make this happen because, Rodney Dangerfield is an amazing comedian.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of his stuff is a bit dated now, and we sort of see this throughout the episode where he goes, oh, that's as well built as a Chinese motorcycle. You're like...
Falling apart like a Chinese motorcycle.
Yeah.
And the other one was empty as a Scottish pay toilet or something like that.
I always thought that is a ridiculous concept, a pay toilet. Why would you pay to go to the toilet? But honestly, I went to Germany, saw it in action. I think we should introduce pay toilets. People have pride in their public toilets over there because they pay for that damn privilege.
Do you think it's more about the German psyche?
I think so. Because here people will be like, I paid for this place. I'll piss wherever I want.
Yeah, that is the Australian way.
Also,
I believe that's what's in our coat of arms in Latin.
Do you want to compare their trains to Sydney trains?
Whose trains?
Germany's trains.
Oh, the ones that run on time.
Yeah, how their things just seem to work.
Yeah.
And ours are, no, this one's just cancelled now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I didn't need to go to work anyway. Who cares?
Fun fact for international listeners, the wind in Sydney just quietly whispers, fuck you.
And every time I listen to the wind blow, it screams, fuck you. Locked out.
Instead of...
And the wind cries. Fuck you.
Jimi Hendrix wrote a song about it.
It's like, what do you mean my train is late? When's the next one? An hour? What? But I'm screwed now. Fuck you.
Oh, it's quite hot in summer. Oh, the tracks melted. Oh, yeah. The wind was so strong that it blew the top of a train once and severed the cable.
Yep.
Like,
we didn't
all
prepare
of these
for that.
happened. Yeah.
We didn't prepare for that at all because...
Also, it happened on the Harbour Bridge and fucked everything.
Oh,
well, okay, fine, then I'll drive. Yeah, could seeing any street signs. They're all gone for some reason. Why?
So, just to cap off what you were saying about this ending, I liked it as well, but I do feel like this is something that we'd shit on New Simpsons for.
Well, I think at this point we're having a good enough time that the party coming out of nowhere is fine.
Yep.
And then the wrap-up, I think, works no matter what.
I also think that because he kind of does it earlier in the episode when he's walking up to Burns's place, he goes, "Guy's rich. I've never seen anyone who walk in postbox. Hey, who am I talking to?"
Yeah.
He already does it, and so it's kind of like you're in the mood for the shtick already, and so you're like, "Oh, okay." He just has this weird, maybe power that he just becomes meta and makes the whole thing meta.
Yeah, well, I think the reason we'd get mad at it in a New Simpsons is because it'd be more like Simpsons cop-out ending, whereas this is more doing a cop-out Rodney Dangerfield ending, where, absorbing this character into the Simpsons world.
It's a parody of his other stuff. So it's kind of allowed. If you just did
Yeah.
it without, a famous voice actor who was famous for, their movies ending like that, it'd be different.
Yeah, but I think we've all quoted, it's a party. Doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Lay, and then just gets a Long Island iced tea out of nowhere.
I just love how it's not like someone puts the lay on him, it drops just from
Yeah.
the heavens. Just out of nowhere.
Party gods.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to say the moment from the story that stands out to me is just how well Rodney Dangerfield's Larry fits into the Simpsons universe. Even from the setup when he's running his little gift shop and he's just got his shitty little tourist attraction shit that you see at every one of these sorts of places.
You saw the Primo stuff. If you want some crap, he's got some back at the counter.
I think the thing I loved most about that is that he's got the walnuts with the googly eyes.
And also a googly-eyed rock.
A googly-eyed rock. But then he's got like sour candies, and if you look, they all had googly eyes on them in the bag as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What about a stressed out Pepsi bottle?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all that stuff. It's all this tourist shop knick-knacky craft crap. Like in Queensland, fans of The Simpsons will know how Bart versus Australia ends. That is an actual problem that they deal with in Queensland. So the way they get around it is that they kill a lot of these cane toads and then glaze them over with lacquer and then sell them in tourist shops.
Yep. Just like if you go down to Circular Quay in Sydney and you go to a tourist shop there, you can get your very own kangaroo scrotum wallet.
You can get those old bottle opener.
Yeah.
You can also get a little fan that when you turn it on simulates the Sydney wind of going, fuck yeah.
They're very expensive though.
Yeah,
as
right.
they
Everything
should
else.
be.
As is everything in Sydney.
Yeah, it's a bottle opener made out of a kangaroo scrotum, $90.
But yeah, even though Rodney Dangerfield has such a distinct style and, I don't get no respect, or how did he say it in this
I
episode?
don't get no respect at all.
No regard.
I don't get no regard or esteem.
Or esteem. Because, that was his whole thing. It was most of his stand-up was about how his wife or his children or whoever would mock him or make fun of him or take advantage of him or whatever. And it kind of carried through. And the fact that he was able to make fun of himself, very cool.
Oh, definitely. Dished it out as good as he could take it and all that sort of stuff. And from what I've read as well, Rodney Dangerfield did, rewrite a few lines to sort of...
Because, they very much seem like his thing.
Yeah. And one of the ones that just sticks with me so much throughout the years, and I'm pretty sure this is on my mum's list of favourite lines, it's like, oh, I stepped on one of your peacocks. Have you got a paper towel?
I was going to say the one that I always say is what are you going to do this weekend? I'm like, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to be so lazy. And then I automatically, without even thinking about it, say, I'm like a rug on Valium. That's exactly how I want to be.
Yeah. Oh, God. He has so many killer lines in this episode, which we'll get into more. But first, play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've watched this episode?
Ooh, 10 something?
10?
I guess.
We were talking before, season 8 is kind of one of my favorite, and it is a bit off the wall sometimes, but it's just got some killer episodes, and this is actually really good. I would say...
we were admiring the disc before we hit play on this one.
I'd say 15 to 20.
Yeah, definitely. This is up there for me. I definitely know that I taped this one, and it was on one of my Simpsons mixes, and I remember watching this a lot, and I remember thinking as a kid, oh, God fucking damn it, Homer. Why did you have to be an asshole in the theater?
Yeah.
You almost had it.
What are they going to do? Call the cops?
Yeah.
The fact that they had to sit right in front of him.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Watching too many grandmas.
Yeah, I was going to put like a kind of an anal quarter about he wasn't sitting there, but then I think the whole joke is that he's so tiny and you don't notice Mole Man until it's too late. Yeah, just the fact that he had to yell at him but then throw popcorn in his face too, and it's like, ugh. Come on.
So how about some of the wacky moments of this episode? What are some of the cartoony boyoings?
I think we all got a joke from when the train stops and there's a couch. It's like, well, it looks like some kind of couch.
Yeah. There's just 7 engineers just all around, just scratching their head, looking at it.
It's a couch. If Mr. Burns wants to observe a stranger, he'll view him through a powerful telescope.
Yep. Oh, Smithers, what's going on? You're interrupting my lime Ricky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what that is?
It was kind of an alcoholic cocktail that looks pretty gross. I looked it up once,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the drink equivalent of a key lime pie, probably.
Yeah. Also, what year did this one come out, just quickly?
This was 96, November of 96.
Really? So I was just checking the year because that makes... So according to Mr. Burns, Larry was conceived in 1939. That makes him 57.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did look pretty old.
57, though?
Maybe.
I mean, he had the bald patch and the comb over.
Yeah.
White hair and...
The thing I was going to say, like we were talking about his buddies at Yale, or that's why I only hang out with like the people in Yale. And, hey, you remember me, Burnsy? It's your old roomie, Dink. And like, Burns is ancient, and this guy does not look that old.
He probably does charity work and exercises a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, helps his community.
Instead of just, withering away in a cavernous mansion.
But have you seen his health, like his beauty routine? It's amazing.
True.
You can see that later in the season.
That's true. Any other wackiness from this episode?
Mr. Burns' playroom.
Oh, yeah.
The entire room just with a play constantly running.
Man, it's not a piece of fruit.
This was supposed to close 2 weeks ago.
Close this play.
Such a good misdirect.
What? Is that a real play?
I have to assume so.
Yeah, it's...
You're going to have to look up. Yeah.
A man is not a piece of
Can't
fruit.
eat the orange and throw away the peel.
Yeah, that's right. It's from the same dude who did Death of a Salesman. It's the sequel. Orange, you glad to see me?
Oh, God.
I'm not dead. I'm a salesman.
How much piss were you taking before? Like when you were talking about Death of a Salesman?
All of it. I was trying to think of a play that I know.
Yeah, you were right. It's from Death of a Salesman.
Get fucked.
Nope, you can't eat the orange and throw the peel away. A man is not a piece of fruit. In Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller.
Holy
wow.
fuck. I studied that in 10th grade. I can't believe I retained
It must
any
have
of it.
stuck with you somewhere
Brilliant.
in the deep recesses of your mind.
You are secretly a genius.
Well, this is actually embarrassing because one of our assignments for studying it was to produce a monologued version of a scene, and we're allowed to take artistic liberty with it and rewrite sections.
And you just did this episode?
No, I did a section of him losing his mind, and I tied in Metallica lyrics to it.
Nice.
Ooh.
Not just any Metallica lyrics. One from a track from St. Anger.
Oh,
Ooh.
which track?
Dirty Window. I think it was
Okay.
the bit, am I who I think I am?
Yep.
I thought it was
Nice.
going to be like Justice and All or something.
Nope. That was
gonna
one of
be
the
something-
St. Anger songs.
That was going to be something from
that I
Reload.
tied with Arthur Miller's Death of the Salesman.
Nice. I bet he would have been really happy about that. Wacky, the fact that they get home, they argue all the way home.
Yeah.
And then decide, no, we're picking up that hitchhiker and drive all the way
Way
back
back, yep.
towards New England. God.
Also, Larry spells Yale with a 6.
That's pretty wacky.
Yep.
In this case, we would need an international airport. Yale could use an international airport.
I'm not made of airports. Yeah, and I love the train scene with Smithers and Burns, from the moment where the train screeches to a halt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just does the most amazing billiards trick shot of all time.
Yeah. Great shot, sir.
Yeah.
Why did you get drunk and stumble about for my amusement?
Yeah.
I'll be a one-man conga line.
One man conga line. And Mr. Burns, just gleefully clapping along to
Yeah.
Smithers. Just
Yeah, but Smithers looks like he's having an amazing time, though.
no one's having a bad time here.
Yeah.
He's probably drunk on some very expensive hooch.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Larry chasing after the train. Where's this train headed?
Springfield.
Yeah. Which state?
Yes.
Yeah, I never noticed that you can't hear him mumbling over the train sounds.
Yeah.
It's
I
great.
wonder what he said, though, whatever the voice actor was told
Rhubarb,
to say.
rhubarb.
Yeah,
maybe.
peas and carrots. Any other wackiness?
I really like when the police enter the theater and they're trying to be stealthy on the sticky floors.
Oh, yeah. Some very good Foley
Very
work.
good Foley, yeah. Oh, the computer simulation of Homer just getting murdered. But then, and here's what it would look like.
The
They
police
took-
use baseball.
Yeah.
A barrage of baseballs.
And he says, oh, make it stop.
One thing that's not necessarily wacky, but I just want to call it out. When Homer and Larry are walking through Burns's front yard and talking about the kidnapping, Larry's drink is incredibly well animated.
Yeah?
Like the liquid moves
Yeah.
incredibly realistically. It was like someone put a lot of effort in that. They really didn't have to.
The cocktail design in this
Yeah.
episode was on top form.
Really put some effort
I
in.
was going to say, similarly, in terms of really good animation, was when they're standing on top of the theater, whatever that sign is called.
The marquee.
The marquee. When they're standing on top of the marquee, the shadowing
Yeah.
on them from the spotlight from kind of halfway, a kind of 45-degree angle up at them, and the soft shadowing kind of on their body, but then behind them as well. It's really good quality. It looked really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So how about some of the heart moments?
I just realized there was one more wacky thing.
Yeah.
I think we've heard enough about Larry Burns. What? It's not like anyone else. Anything exciting happened to anyone else today. And,
Oh, yeah.
And Bart is inspecting this giant gem.
Yep.
Lisa's got a broken arm, and
Maggie's
Maggie's
one
one
cute-
cutest baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There was a whole other subplot. We were talking before about the weird Mo Barney thing from the last episode, and it's like, yeah, here's some implied plot that's even funnier that they're not drawing attention to it.
Really good.
Yeah, especially because Larry would be the best friend for Mr. Homer.
Yeah. He's
Mr.
just
Homer.
like him. He's like a really nice version of the critic.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is nice watching their best friendship play out a little bit in this episode, especially because he is a relative of Burns.
Yeah.
And I think I sort of highlight that awkwardness in that dinner scene.
Yeah.
You mean where it was any more lively, a funeral's going to break out?
Yeah.
I actually really like there's a detail on that when he's like, "What's the matter, Pops? Don't you love me anymore?" And the door slams, it blows out the candles.
Oh.
yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, that was really cool
Nice
as well.
little detail.
Yeah.
I did like how they're having an ultra fancy dinner, but they're just eating like what looks like chicken legs or turkey legs.
The fanciest of foods.
Come on, Pops, make with the yakety yak yak. And then he's like trying to think about it. Oh, yakety yak, what a...
Do you have a son? Yes, I do, sir. Do they bring around nitwits and make you talk to them? He goes, oh.
All the time. You see this little dweeb Millhouse?
So I love that because, yeah, Mr. Burns obviously not talking to Homer at all in that moment. And I'm just, I can relate to this. Look, have you heard of Millhouse?
The Shitting on Millhouse playlist.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't even really in either of these last two episodes, yet they managed to shit on him. It's
Oh,
great.
Yep.
So how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
Not particularly. There's a bit for, acceptance from Larry, but seeing as he's not a mainstay character, you don't care too much. He's there for the laughity laugh, not the thumpity thumps.
I mean, they misdirect you with Burns. He's going to accept him and, they'll work something out and everything's going to be all right. He's like, no, I can't do it. It's too gross and weird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it's undercut.
Well, I think there's sort of something a bit realistic about the way that the episode ends, is that especially if you've been estranged from a family member, you just sort of randomly meet them and it's like, you've spent all this time not knowing each other. So
Allegedly 57 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Burns just sort of ending it like, oh, it's just nice to know there's another kidney out there. And, that's what their relationship can be. They're well beyond the point of needing each other.
Oh, yeah.
There was one shitty moment as well with the debutantes, like, oh, put it back in. Yeah, but, you know, you're meant to not really think much of Larry in this moment at the same time. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, ultimately, though, guys, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yes.
Yep. I'm just reinforcing my point that it's amazing how they took a guest star with such a distinct style and made it work within this universe.
Yeah.
And also
absolutely.
just Homer's zeal for having a new friend, I think, is nice.
He's almost giddy with
Yeah.
excitement because he's just been talking about it for ages.
Yeah.
And Marge is so bored of hearing about Larry, especially when he says stuff like, oh, if I was stuck on a desert island, I would definitely take Larry. Yeah, we get along so much more than us.
Yeah.
Like,
Marge has got her cheek in her hands like, I think we've heard enough about Larry.
Yeah.
I was a little bit of a jerk in that way, but also, yeah, you can tell the hidden subtext there was he was really pushing for the phony kidnapping so that he could spend more time with Larry. Yeah. No, I gotta straighten up. I gotta quit the booze and all that. Your son has been kidnapped. Yeah, good old Simpsons misdirect.
I do actually really like Homer as the kidnapper, just with a kazoo in his mouth.
Don't you care about your son?
What? Who is this?
More important than money.
Fun fact, that was the original plan for the voice of Bane.
Really?
Just give him a kazoo.
Interesting.
I'd replicate it now,
scary.
but I don't have a kazoo.
So, yes or no, would you watch this one again?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure, I'm going to watch it again. What playlist do we put it in?
Burns' Family.
Yeah. Mr. Burns Extended Universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
MBCU. MBEU. The Simpsons just going out on excursions to places.
Yeah, going on very typical family not vacations, but outings.
Yeah, pair this the one where they went to the peach farm.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, if there was a cider mill within driving distance of our place, my mum would have taken me. And that was the kind of thing she did.
Yeah. Get the apple hat and everything.
Oh, maybe not the apple hat. That'd be a waste of money. Unless it was
But get the loyalty
knitted.
card.
Oh, yeah.
Grandpa road trip
Yeah.
issues.
But this is the one where his kidneys explode.
Yeah.
Ooh, pie and trousers playlist.
I hope
Yes.
that shepherd's pie in my knickers.
And yeah, this one. Grandpa, did you set on the pie?
I sure hope so.
Aw. Yeah, that's good for playlist. BT, what would you change?
Oh, wow. I wasn't ready for this one. I feel there's not a lot I would really want to change because that opening is really joke heavy, and then your middle is where you get a bit more of the plot heavy and weight.
Yep.
And then you wrap that all up. I'm not saying it's flawless. I just don't know where I would make a change.
Sure. Jordan?
As I said earlier, you could probably cut some of that cider stuff, but
Why would you?
how could you? How could you do that?
And where do you want to put the extra time?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think we were talking about the third act being a little bit kind of joke light, and all the action really happens then, because it's first act is set up, second act is Larry kind of not being able to integrate, and the third is really the whole plot of we're going to kidnap, he gets taken, and everything happens all in kind of that 7 minutes. So maybe move that a little bit further into the episode, and I don't really know how you make that better. It's just draw the rest of the fucking L, but insert some more humor into that third act. There's probably some jokes that are independent of the story that you could move into that, but I don't know exactly how.
Yeah, look, I'm sort of the same, where I really want to tighten up this third act, but there's a lot where I'm like, oh no, you got to keep that. Oh no, you got to keep that. Like, I think it's just some conversational moments where they took a bit of time. Like, there's something kind of funny about the joke where Marge is like reprimanding Homer. It's like, no, you take him back now. And I was like, oh, it's broad daylight. The cops are out. And then Kent Brockman sort of says the same thing in his news report and goes, well, there's only one word for this, idiocy. And I felt like it took way too long to get to that joke.
It was enough to say, well, there they are, out in broad daylight with cops everywhere.
Yeah. So things like that, it's not completely obvious, but there is one point there where I'm saying, okay, yeah, that's why, for me, it's feeling like the third act is dragging.
There's a nice Marge line there of, what, you know how I feel about hoaxes? Still?
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Any musical moments that stood out to you guys?
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Bear down.
All night.
Bear down.
All night.
Bear down.
Yeah, Journey do a little appearance at the end. I thought, yeah, that was good. I don't know. I hate Journey, but I like them, but I hate Journey.
Yep.
Any other musical moments from this episode?
Well, Disco Inferno did not play.
No. BT, do you have any other notes?
I do. Mr. Burns answers the phone from the kidnappers with the usual ahoy hoy.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that consistency.
Very good.
And finally, when Larry meets that old German guy, he mentions the Merrimack, which is the USS Merrimack, operated between 1855 and 1860. So they are clearly commenting on his age with that reference that I had to look up.
Yeah. Well, because then he says, I hope I look that good when I'm 200. Yeah.
Yes.
Jordan, do you have any other notes?
Yeah, I do like the fact that they show, yes, the DNA test is essentially, does he have the 3 dots on his head? But then later on in the episode, he's like, well, if you get bored, you can come to the playroom. As they're walking there, he walks there with his little T-Rex arms, like Monty.
I didn't notice that.
It's very cute. When Smithers at the party says, it could be something to do with his almost heroic intake of cocktails. Like, that's
heroic.
That's how I want to be described.
I'm moving from disgusted to amazed.
Yeah. Of course, the quote, did you meet my son Larry? Yes. He made light of my weight problem, suggested my motto should be Semper Fudge, and then told me to relax. Yeah.
Very good. That was so funny. Another one of these moments that I love where it's a different character doing a character's quote.
Yeah.
So, you get a sense of how that scene played out in your mind's eye. I love that.
Hey, relax. Are we going to let every drifter move in with us? No. Obviously, we'll adjust it on a drifter-by-drifter basis.
Yep.
My only anal corner was that...
Only anal corner! You are not getting away with it.
Was that Burns' gates were just open
Yeah.
at night.
And he obviously left his walk-in mailbox opened as well.
Yeah.
It's time for my final notes. Yeah, Homer's describing the cider mill. Oh, yeah, it's sucky or something. And then Flanders like, oh, sucking down that cider.
Yeah.
Ever the optimist. Gotta love you, Flanders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought as well, he goes, the membership really pays for itself on its 16th visit.
Yep.
Yeah.
This means he's at least been here 16 times.
Yes.
There's probably at least twice that.
He probably goes back every week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Homer as they're passing Larry, who's hitchhiking. Can't they get a poll for that sign?
Do love that bit.
It's clever in its stupidity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why did I write down Hearst thought?
Oh, because the only person who stopped for me was a hearse, and he thought I fell out. And that's where I wrote Rodney Dangerfield is just doing Rodney Dangerfield,
Yeah.
but it works. So
Well, yeah, similarly, he's got more bread than a prison meatloaf.
Mhm.
yep.
Not bad. I like meatloaf. Yeah, there was something funny about Mr. Burns looking past Mindy's wrinkles to see her 21-year-old daughter Lily or whatever.
Yep.
And they made their love physical, as was the
It's the
style.
style
at
of
the time.
the time.
Oh, it's another playlist. Springfield Natural History Museum
Yeah.
playlist.
Yeah, didn't mean
Yep.
for that.
Yep.
Hey, I have been in a museum. That was a good coincidence, and also we had another connection with the last episode in that Chief Wiggum was looking for a missing person,
Yes.
a missing
true.
child, perhaps.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
good.
And Larry's still a child to someone.
Yeah,
It's just you reminded me of that. He was in the orphanage until 18, and then I started work at the souvenir store. Oh, one time I saw a blimp.
yep. Oh, the puzzle that Homer's sweeping away. This is a pretty interesting thing. It's obviously Snoopy, but the nose is missing. Apparently, that's all they needed to remove to get around the copyright.
Wow.
Wow,
Amazing.
interesting.
So yeah, it was a very
I loved his little nose. He's like, as he's like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah,
God,
the
he's seen it.
panicked Homer is funny.
yeah, and that's why him and Larry were perfect for each other, especially that they both thought they could leave their workstation with a simple note, "Gone drinking." I like how Smithers pronounces that N apostrophe
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
as you were saying, it's a character quoting another character almost.
It appears he's gone drinking, sir. Marge, you've been reading too many Hideout books.
Yeah.
That's the other bit that I love from the kidnapping phone call with Homer at the kazoo. Don't you miss your son? Yes, I'm missing one son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very little.
Oh, and here's another playlist I want to put together, the costume shop misdirect,
Yeah.
where they're in the costume shop and they don't think to buy costumes, they just hide out in the bathroom or whatever.
Yep. I think it is a bathroom. Yeah, because there's like a sink and a toilet.
Yep.
Yeah, but this reminds me of the football episode where
Yeah, they're like, this gives me an idea. Go to the costumes and they just push the thing over the guard and run
Yeah.
inside.
very good. And my final note is I like Homer's little grandstanding at the end where he still manages to insult his children, or as he likes to call them, obnoxious, boring, and stinky.
I like how they go, it's from left to right. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a description
There's a
of
little
all of
shift in
them.
the
Yeah.
facial expression for each.
Hey, this is about me.
Yeah.
It is time to rank this thing. BT, kick it off.
Where does one like gold?
Gold?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's even great, but is it so iconic I have to give it the high ranking? I just don't think I can quite get there, unfortunately. I'd like to, but it's just not there. But hey, gold is a great rank.
Very respectable. It is excellent.
Excellent, in fact. Yeah.
Mm.
How about you, Jordan? What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I'm a gold too. Like, I mean, I think the cider thing is cubic.
Yeah.
But the rest of the episode, it's still pretty good. It lags a little bit, but it's still excellent, and it's a definite gold.
Yeah, look, I will say that I am on the silver border. I am going to give it gold because now that you mention it, yeah, the arcs 1, 2, 3 in my mind go cubic, gold, silver.
Yeah,
Mm.
And
that's where I was at,
honestly,
too.
it is still a gold episode. There is still so much that I love and I quote from this one. Yeah, I still think it's an excellent episode, and
Yeah.
there's a lot to love about it.
And that is 3 episodes we've all been unanimous.
Yes.
I actually got curious and had a look at this. This doesn't actually happen that much.
No, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, there's only about 7 episodes where our panel has all been unanimous on every single episode.
I didn't know it was as few as 7.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, 7 out of 97. It's crazy. But yeah, this one will be a unanimous gold. This will be joining other unanimous golds like Dance and Homer,
Mm-hmm.
where Homer dances, Itchy and Scratchy and Marge, where Marge tries to get that cartoon banned, Separate Vocations.
Nice.
Wait, which one's Separate Vacations again?
Where Bart becomes a hall monitor and Lisa becomes like a bad girl.
That's right.
It's a very good episode. It's just shy of that perfection, though.
Yep.
Yeah, Bart's friend falls in love as well with Milhouse and Samantha Stanky.
Yep.
Very quality episode.
The one with Samantha, who's the voice for that one again?
Robert De Niro.
No, it's Laura, someone from Twin Peaks.
Oh, that's right. It's Laura Palmer's one.
Yeah, yeah.
I always get confused. Like, no, the Meryl Streep is the other one. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. That's Jessica Lovejoy, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And also be joining Bart on the Road from season 7,
Nice.
where the wad fur and all that.
Yep.
Sunsphere.
Yeah. All right, guys, before we wrap this up today, is there anything you guys have been into lately, like books, movies, TV, podcasts, whatever? BT, we'll start with you. What are you into at the moment?
I'm going to say, if you're looking for a little bit of a lift, GQ does this thing where they get an actor on to talk about their iconic roles. And what's wrong with Terry Crews? That dude is the most positive motherfucker in the world. And it's so damn interesting to listen to him, especially his story about working on The Expendables. Very good boost if you're having a bit of a slack day. The other thing is Netflix. I didn't even know this had turned into a movie. So there's a graphic novel called I Kill Giants that I really, really love. I just bought it one day on a whim and I thought it was great. And I didn't even know it got turned into a movie. And then I found out it had been turned into a movie a couple of years ago. And then Netflix had that movie and I watched that movie and it's pretty good. I have some notes, but I did get misty towards the end. So, yeah, check it out. It is pretty good.
Ooh, last-minute mistiness.
Yeah, I mean, for me to have feelings, that's something to catch my cold, cold heart. That's pretty good.
All right.
Let's see a doctor.
How about you, Jordan? What are you getting into at the moment?
You should see a doctor.
Maybe.
Just in general,
Maybe
I
should.
worry about your health.
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm just going through Octopath Traveler because I'm just a sucker for JRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one looks appealing to me. I'm not
No, it
normally
doesn't. Don't lie to me, to my face.
No, see, I don't care much for the whole, talking aspect of RPGs, but I do like this whole 8-player mechanic that they seem to do.
Yeah, I look, for the first part of the game, I won't say how long, but there's bits where it's like
12
you're just
hours.
playing like one character's story for a bit and then you move to another character's story, and it's not till a couple of other events happen that like there's even a little bit of more than one character talking to another character that you control. It does happen eventually, but then the stories are quite isolated. But as someone who like has played through all the Bravely Default games and like a bunch of other JRPGs, it's still like I really like the mechanics of the game, so I've been playing that. And when you were talking about GQ, it just reminded me of, have you watched this comedians captioning New Yorker cartoons?
No.
Adam Scott does one, Nick Offerman does one, but the best one is Bill Hader captioning like New Yorker, because they just like they get shown the picture and okay, write a caption, and some of them are just awesome.
That
really
sounds
fantastic.
hilarious,
Yeah.
All right, sounds great. What I'm just recommending a few small little things this week. So what I'd like to recommend, if you're living in Australia and you like video games, specifically Nintendo, the latest issue of Hyper is out and it's an absolute fantastic issue. One of our good friends, James O'Connor, who is on the Pods in the Key of Springfield podcast, he wrote most of this issue and it's a stellar amount of work and of stellar quality. He goes in and talks to all of the old N64 gamer editors and does an excellent spread on that and does a big spread on Super Smash Brothers and Waluigi and good multiplayer Nintendo games. Yeah, it's a fantastic issue, and supporting a friend of ours that we like. That will be actually our next episode next week. Will be with them, where me and Beej are heading down to Adelaide to do some recording with them, and so they're appearing on our podcast. We'll appear on a few of theirs.
Nice.
I smell a cheesy crossover.
Does he do in the magazine that thing that like James May did with his car magazine, where like the first letter of each paragraph like spells out
A message.
Knowing James, he'd want to sneak in a Twin Peaks reference.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's all just who killed Laura Palmer.
yeah.
It's all like great coffee.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll take a slice of pie. Yeah.
I also want to recommend Cheap Shots. It's a very new YouTube channel, but it's John Shees is an amazing writer from Cracked. He started up a YouTube channel all about pull trick shots.
So is it like a tutorial kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay. That's a strange turn for him, but okay, cool.
it is, but he's good at it, and he's also he brings in his own style with YouTube tutorials, so it's like funny and fresh throughout. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm a massive supporter of John Shees. Also, the website he works for, The Modern Rogue, is worth a gander as well.
Cool.
Anyway, we better end this thing. Thank you for listening in, tuning in wherever you are and whatever you do. Please like, share, rate, subscribe, or don't.
It's your life. Do whatever you want.
Not going to force you to do
Be
anything.
free. Don't make your decisions based on what we tell you to do.
Anyway, that's been our show. That's been BT Calloway.
Thank you for being a friend.
And thank you, Jordan.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to watching these 3 episodes.
Oh my God. We've got Jordan at the start of the show, Jordan.
Oh, we've come full circle.
My mind exploded.
I think it's all sorted now.
All right, and I've been your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the house.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can chat to us online at facebook.com/thesimpsonsindex or at simpsonsindex on Twitter. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes.
Sponsored by Mission Impossible 2, the one that they filmed in Sydney about 15, 20 years ago.
That sucks. Many testicles.
Get it now in the VHS clearance bin at your local Vinnies.
I was about to say in the bargain bin at your local service station.
You know what? I don't mind it.
Really?
Also because I don't mind Thandie Newton.
Who?
It is Thandie Newton, isn't it?
Thandy. Oh,
No,
Sandy.
you're trying to say Sandy, but you're
No,
getting it
I'm
wrong.
not.
Newton.
Don't mock my speech impediment.
You starred in Run, Fat Boy, Run
Oh, I like her, yeah.
with Simon Pegg
That was not a bad movie. It was not a good movie. It was not a bad movie.
and Hank Azaria.
The last thing wasn't a Jordan's Anna corner, but there was this bit where
Wasn't the Jordan's Handle Corner?
that concludes.
No, it is funny when you do see animation cost-cutting measures in
I thought you
animation
say
these
cock
days.
ups. You could have saved it.
Yep.
I have mine.
Right.
Mighty cock-ups. Why did I write the note, always Bart Fridge?
Always Bart Fridge.
Yep.
Is Bart Fridge one word?
Bart Fridge, 2 words. Always Bart Fridge. You know, your ABF, you're always
Bart Fridge. Always be Bart Fridging.
Bart Fridge. Interesting. Bart wasn't really in this one apart from
No.
Millhousing
I
Lisa.
think he got like a passing phrase somewhere, and it may have had something to do with a fridge
It means no worries.
for the rest of your days.
The passing phrase.
Always Bart Fridge.
But, you know, if you're a good person, it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
maybe that's a bit too kind of Sesame Street for The Simpsons.
Nah, fuck it, it's some heart.
We'll cover that on the Sesame Street Index.
God,
TSSI.
seriously, you will never finish it because they're still making episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be
What if we
dead.
did 90 episodes in one podcast?
Oh, God, can you imagine?
We review 90 episodes of Sesame Street at a time, but there's a
Yep.
twist. Each episode must
Come from a different decade.
be sponsored by a different letter of the
Yeah, I was about
alphabet.
to say, the letters of the alphabet in these 90 episodes were the alphabet 3 times.
Yeah.
Millhouse, when Lisa's dressed as a goth, says, like, what are you supposed to be, an Oakland Raiders fan? Like, come on, man. Like, they've had it rough the last few seasons anyway. That's fine, whatever. Who gives a shit?
I agree with that statement.
Oakland.
Yep.
They're the Raiders, right?
Yes. That's right. That's why I
Sorry,
said the Oakland
Jordan.
Raiders. Why did I laugh like Shirley? Anyway. Okay.
It's nice.
Here's a question. That's not nice.
Ooh, that's nice.
So, BT, do you have any... just got to...
Get your shit together.
Yeah. Baby burns. Wait, that's not the order that the words go in.
This suit, baby, burns.
Is that a bit of sneaky peeks in our podcast?
Sneaky what?
You're like the dreamer. Dreams and then lives inside the dream.
Sneaky peeks.
Me.
You.
Sauce. The concept of the individual
Versus the collective.
Beautiful.
What?
It's philosophy while also warming up your vocal cords.
Oh.
Philosophical chords.
For local cords.
I don't like that.
It's what it's called. Now deal with it. It's a podcast. Doesn't have to make sense.